My dad made me choose one of the 10 goddesses to marry. This video is purely for entertainment and does not violate copyright or laws. The rights to the novel and the image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Chapter 501. Good and fun. Lin put this card into his body and immediately returned to the villa. This is your fault too. With so many enemies, people like Zhao King should work from home like Yi Shen did before. However, there is no regret medicine in the world. Now that he has been taken away, he can only find one way. Back at the villa, Lin first told the second master about the matter. After Men Cheng heard this, his expression suddenly became ugly. It seems that this King Lily has an unusual status in Jia land. Second master, what do you think? Lin put his hands in his trouser pockets and asked expressionlessly. What else can we do? Contact the country first. Men Cheng paused and looked at Lin. Reunion is also a breakthrough. As expected from my second master, he has thought the same as me. Lin was about to begin. Call Union and ask him what he thinks now. After that, he went to find Lanny. At this moment, Jin suddenly left the villa. Lin looked a little surprised. What happened to this guy today? He will take the initiative to leave his room. Take that girl. Jin approached Lin with a displeased expression on his face. You can't take that girl away at all. She's a loser and loves to play games. It's a waste of time. Lin was a little embarrassed. It turned out that it was because of this thing. At this time, Kaikiokiao ran out with her mobile phone. Brother, are you still playing? You will definitely win the next one. Play alone, don't disturb others. Lin said from the side. Humph. I didn't talk to you. Kaikiokiao grimaced at Lin and looked at Jin again. It's not fun. I have a mission, Jin said calmly. Okay then. Kaikiokiao looked disappointed and had no choice but to pick up the phone and return to the living room. You have been at home for so many days. Get ready and come with me for a walk. Lin patted Jin on the shoulder. Jin nodded. It was indeed time to move. Lin took advantage of this time to find the previous call records with Liu. Follow this chain of confusing codes and dial. The confusing phone number that Liu created would make it impossible to determine his location. But it can be opened. Sure enough, after a few busy signals, Liu's voice was heard. It's really strange that the boss takes the initiative to call me. If it weren't for something important, I wouldn't call him. Lin paused and told Liu what happened today. King Lily. Who is she? Liu asked strangely. You really don't know, or are you pretending not to know? Lin asked sharply, feeling that Liu was lying to him. I really don't know. Liu's voice was a little innocent. When Lin heard this, he had no choice but to tell her what happened in the Magic City. It's this time and he doesn't hide it, including the secret of King Lily's eyes. However, Lin did not say that she was from another race. That pattern you were talking about. Ha ha ha. That's it. Tong Shalwo is really hiding. Liu laughed a few times there. Lin's eyebrows furrowed more and more. What's going on? The boss gave me the eyes of the Divine Palace and I will not hide it from you. That woman is the reincarnation of the god of the 9 netherworlds. Liu Yanzhe, the other son, said. Boss, if possible, I think this matter should be discussed in person. Lin hesitated. In fact, he didn't want the second master and the fourth son to see Liu. Why don't you say anything? Are you afraid that your wife will be angry? The Death Doctor turns out to be a strict wife keeper, which is embarrassing. Liu suddenly left. You're thinking too much. Lin was not in the mood to joke with her. When can we arrive? We will arrive at Yun City tomorrow morning, Liu said there. Okay, then I'll wait for you. After Lin finished speaking, he hung up the phone. He dialed the old man's number again, and after a while, the other party answered. Hey. Lin. I want to thank you this time. I have done something big. Ji Guangling's loud voice came from there. Old master, there's trouble here. My wife has been arrested. Lin told him about Zhao King. He called Zhao King, his wife, just to tell Ji Guangling the importance of Zhao King. Do you mean the 9 others? Ji Guangling's voice gradually became deeper. That's right, I just got the news and I don't know if it's true or not. Lin paused and said, this King Lily is the reincarnation of the god of the 9 netherworlds. God of the 9 netherworlds. Ji Guangling's voice was solemn. We are currently here. The base outside the city, please come. Lin agreed. Okay. Send a helicopter and I will send you the address. Yeah. Ji Guangling hung up the phone. After Fen Lin told him the address, he sat down opposite Men Changshen. I didn't expect that Senior Ji was still on the front line. It seems that the country's new generation has not kept up. Men Changshen took out his pipe with a smile and shook his head slightly. Does Sukun Master still know him? Fen Lin raised his eyebrows. That's natural. When I was young, he was already a famous teacher, Men Changshen said with a smile. At this time, Sikam Jin put on a casual suit and walked over with his trouser pockets inserted. Wait a moment, the helicopter will arrive soon. Fen Lin smiled at Sikam Jin. Sikam Jin nodded and stood aside. In the distance, Mutalu and Jamu were exercising and were the ones who saw Sikam Jin the least often. So it was also the most shocking. Especially when others tell them that such a beautiful person is a man. His worldview collapsed. Not long after, Zhou Wang hurriedly arrived. He looked at Fen Lin and said, Antang called me just now and told me that King was missing. I know, they took him away. Fen Lin said solemnly, don't go out these days. Mutalu, Shamu, Yishin and others looked here in disbelief. That. Zhou Wang ran over and asked nervously, who took him away? Several other people also gathered around. It's useless for you to know. The best way is to practice hard and become stronger quickly. Fen Lin said helplessly, he was still careless. Zhao King comes into contact with this Fengling base camp every day and goes to the company alone every day. If they don't arrest her, who will? Zhou Wang and others were unable to refute, they could only help if they became stronger quickly. Shortly after, a helicopter appeared in the sky. The helicopter slowly landed in the courtyard of the villa and Fen Lin looked at Sikam Jin. The two sat together. This time go to the lowest level of the base. Logically speaking, you are not a member of Wu Jin and you do not have the authority, so you should put on the mask. Fen Lin looked at Sikam Jin. Member of Dead Knight, no one dares to say anything while he is here. However, Bao Si has now broken through the realm. It stands to reason that the strength is enough to enter Wu Jin. Sikam Jin nodded and put on the mask of no. For the space ring. The base outside the magic city. The helicopter landed slowly and Fen Lin put on his mask to avoid unnecessary trouble. He and Sikong Jin jumped off the helicopter together and walked towards the entrance in the distance. Fen Lin used to come here often to the base here in the Magic City, so he had a good relationship with Xiu Wenbo. In the distant forest, a group of people from the Secret Legion are training. When they saw Fen Lin and Sikong Jin passing by, all of these people were shocked beyond words. They are the Knight of Death. That's number 1, the legendary Doctor of Death. Chapter 502. Just a little better than you. The Dead Knight creates legends one after another in the Secret Legion. Especially young people, many of them are Dead Knight worshippers. Almost half of them, regardless of gender, rushed. What are you doing? Are you turning a deaf ear to my order? A middle-aged man fell between Fen Lin and these team members in the blink of an eye. He stepped on the ground and all the energy of the divine realm exploded. Boom. A loud crunch was heard under their feet and the entire hillside shook. This middle-aged man was wearing a black military uniform with 3 black stars on his shoulders. Fen Lin was once in the Secret Legion and was promoted to this position. But later Dead Knight was established and the position has been fixed here ever since. These young team members discovered that the senior colonels were coming. Just stop and don't dare move at all. This person's name is Hukiyu. I found out about the upcoming commendation meeting. You can add another star. At that time, he was a general, the same level as Li Pa Chang. Fen Lin simply looked here and walked towards the base entrance. Zhao King was caught and had no time to mess around here. Sikam Jin didn't even look at him and followed Fen Lin. You the legendary Doctor of Death. Hukiyu suddenly looked at Fen Lin, my team members seem to like you a lot, why don't you show your hands? No, this time I have a mission. Fen Lin stopped and responded. He said over his head and left here. Hukiyu no longer looked at Fen Lin, but instead looked at the team members here. Did you see that? The Death Doctor is nothing more than that. Most of you are young and don't know that the Death Doctor's position was the same as mine, but I will soon be promoted. Fen Lin shook his head slightly. And I didn't care. These kinds of things are very normal. Not to mention the members of the Secret Legion, all of them have high aspirations. Even in ordinary troops, conflicts between men often occur. Fen Lin was walking when he suddenly stopped. He looked back and saw that Sikam Jin had turned around and was walking towards Hukiyu. Dr. Doom is our boss. Who do you think you are, showing your hands? Fen Lin could bear it, but Sikam Jin couldn't. I can practice with you. Fourth, come back. Fen Lin was here, he shouted there. HNPH. It's just number 4, are all the people in Dead Knight so crazy? Hukyu's eyes suddenly turned red and he appeared in front of Jin in the blink of an eye. He aimed his fist at Jin's mask. Boom. Suddenly, Hukyu felt a terrifying pressure fall on him instantly. His body was completely out of control and he hit the ground hard. A large human-shaped pit appeared on the ground. Impossible. Hukyu's face turned pale. He wanted to become a 4-star person. The dignified divine orifice realm was actually taken down by the unknown no. 4 on the night of death. The people watching here were scared when they saw this scene. What is the situation? This person is about to reach the same level as Li Pa-chang. Being defeated by Dr. Doom is understandable. But he was defeated by Death Knight number 4. It shouldn't be a defeat, but an instant death. How can this be? Could it be said that the 4-star general of the Secret Legion was not even ranked at the end of Dead Knight? After all, in the eyes of most people, the most famous of Dead Knight are only numbers 1 and 2. Doctors of Death and Dreams of Death. In addition to being members of Dead Knight, the two also have an identity. The world list ranks 2nd and 3rd in Yangon 2. That's it. Jin said calmly. Boom. He didn't move at all, but the ground shook again. Hukyu's body was completely buried underground. 4th. That's enough. Fenlin grabbed Jin by the shoulders, then crouched down and pulled out Hukyu after he was completely knocked to the ground. Originally this was a normal action. But all the team members here took a breath. Shit. What's going on? Wasn't Dr. Doom there a moment ago? Yes, how come he is here in the blink of an eye? Others around him couldn't believe it. It only blinked once, but there was no burst of ki. He seemed to have skipped the middle distance and took a step forward. I'm convinced. It's a Dead Knight. I'm ashamed of myself. After Fenlin took Hukyu out, he handed him over. He knew very well that this performance number 4 was not of skill. Instead, he simply used ki to push himself down. It's enough to show how much he surpassed himself. If number 4 is like this, then number 1 is stronger. We are all ordinary people. Fenlin raised his hand and made an inch gesture. We are only a little better than you. After saying that, he looked at Jin. Both sides moved further apart. Everyone around him, including Hukyu, looked astonished. I didn't expect the legendary Doctor of Death to be so gentle. A girl couldn't help but cover her cheeks with an expression of love on her face. I seem to be in love. Gentleness is normal. I heard that's the reason why Dr. Death is called. He is a dead doctor because he is a doctor. Is he a doctor? So it's that strong. Do you want him alive? Fenlin arrived at the side of the mountain, where there was a cave. Walking more than 10 meters inside, a black steel door blocks you. Fenlin took off his mask and looked to the chamber above. Drop. Hearing a crisp sound, the black door opened automatically. Fenlin put on his mask again and walked in with Jin. Hello, sir, please follow me. A young man dressed in black military uniform came from a distance. Take Fenlin and Jin and take the descending elevator. Finally, the two reached the bottom. Here we go. Ji Guangling was waiting here. Old master, where is King Lily? Fenlin took off his mask and asked. It's not here, it's a few floors up. Ji Guangling pointed up. And then said, what's going on? Fenlin told him everything that happened. At first, he didn't know that King Lily was related to Jialand. TSK, the reincarnation of the god of the 9 netherworlds is true. Ji Guangling touched his chin and asked calmly, your wife, what are you going to do? The easiest way, of course, is to use King Lily change. Fenlin shrugged. After all, I found out about King Lily. No, we're still blank about his race. Ji Guangling shook his head. I received the news. Jialand has been saying, when the god of the 9 netherworlds is resurrected, they will be able to stand on the top, and you must not give it to them without permission. Since this method doesn't work, then the old man can only do it himself. Fenlin sat next to Ji Guangling. You are responsible for taking care of me. Save my wife. She's not my wife, why don't you save her? Ji Guangling rolled her eyes. Fenlin spread his hands helplessly. I can't beat him. What does Xiaoman do for food? Isn't it easy to deal with him? Ji Guangling pursed her lips. Chapter 503. How about risking your life? Second master's legs are weak, not to mention that if you want to see my wife, you must have King Lily in your hands. Fenlin crossed his arms, paused and asked, Old master, can you trust me to leave King Lily to me? You, boy, I've already washed my hands of the problems. I can't break the rules for your wife. Ji Guangling was suddenly surprised. By the way, call your father. He is still looking for his wife. How can he do it? I only care about my wife, Fenlin said. Calmly. I can't act anyway, otherwise I will ask Zhao Xia or Zhao Zhen to accompany you. When Ji Guangling said this, he suddenly remembered. But you have to promise me that King Lily will not be taken away. Old master, I came here this time to confirm one thing. Whether you will let me take King Lily away. Fen Lin said with a smile, since you agree, I have no worries. What are you going to do? Ji Guangling asked. I want to cooperate with Liu Nian and destroy Jia Land together, Fen Lin said what he was thinking. Liu Nian knows many secrets of Jia Land, and with his help, he will be able to do it. Liu Nian. Have you forgiven that woman? Ji Guangling naturally knew about this matter. No, an enemy's enemy is a friend, and her goal is also to be the sect leader of the 9 others. Fen Lin said lightly. In fact, Fen Lin had an easier way to capture Zhao King. That was to learn the location of the first sect from Liu Nian's mouth. Then he called the second master and the old man to come. If you don't believe it, you can't win Tong Xiaoluo. When the time comes, Tong Xiaoluo's life will be exchanged for Zhao King's. Simpler and more direct. The purpose of his visit here this time was to explore the old man's tone. See if he is willing to return King Li to him. Since he gave face, he also gave Fen Lin an additional insurance policy. I don't care about your affairs, just do what you want. Ji Guangling waved his hand. Then I'll go back. Thank you, old man. Fen Lin nodded with a smile and left with Sikam Jin. By the way, the number 4 next to you can also join Wu Jian, are you willing? Ji Guangling suddenly looked at Sikam Jin. Sikam Jin turned around and nodded gently towards Ji Guangling. What a pity. Ji Guangling shook his head slightly. Fen Lin put his mask back on and left with Sikam Jin. He didn't go to see King Lily, as long as he knew the attitude. Boarding the helicopter again, Fen Lin and Sikam Jin asked the pilot to take them to Yun City. Back to Yun City, it was already getting dark. Sikam Jin returned to the room first. As for Fen Lin, he greeted the second master and returned to Zuoying. The matter cannot be finalized yet, everything will have to wait until tomorrow, after meeting Liu Nian. Zhao King is not here today and Mu Xiaoyu came back early to cook. The 3 people at the table were worried. Finally, Zuoying asked, Fen Lin, there must be a way, right? He also felt a little guilty in his heart. Zhao King listened to his words and went to the company every day. Don't worry, Fen Lin gave Zuoying a reassuring look. Tonight, Fen Lin held the back of his head and lay on the bed meditating. The night passed like this. Early the next morning, Fen Lin woke up early and went to the opposite side to wait for Liu Nian. Men Changshan got up early as usual, sitting in a wheelchair, watching the flowers in the garden. Fen Lin walked over and stretched. Second master, why haven't you seen Senior Weiwei these days? How do I know? Men Changshan rolled his eyes. Fen Lin smiled and said nothing more. 9 in the morning. Everyone here has arrived one after another. Everyone followed Fen Lin's words. During this time I will not go anywhere. Fen Lin sat in front of the stone table, looking at his phone to pass the time. Not long after, Fen Lin's eyes narrowed and an aura that penetrated the previous peak appeared within Fen Lin's perception range. After a while, a figure appeared in the courtyard of the villa. It was Liu Nian who came. He was wearing a black t-shirt and white casual clothes. However, the zipper of the casual clothes was not closed. I can't seem to get it up. The lower body is ripped black pencil pants. Her long black hair was spread casually behind her back. Seeing this person, Yishen's face suddenly became frightened and she quickly pushed Mu Xiaoyu and Zhamu back. Zuoying's eyes also widened. You're here again. What? I can't go. Liu Nian said with a slight smile. The second master is here today. I think you are here to die. Zuoying's words were very arrogant, but she still retreated to the second master's side. Liu Nian put his hands in his jacket pockets and walked towards Fen Lin with a smile. Boss, second master, long time no see. Don't be nervous, I asked him to come. Fen Lin looked at the people around him, and then pushed Men Changshan's wheelchair towards Zuoying's villa. Liu Nian smiled and followed Fen Lin without forgetting to turn around and greet Zuoying. You're the loser. Zuoying knew what he was talking about from the shape of his mouth. The second teacher was here today and she also decided to show her power. He didn't believe that Liu Nian would dare to hit herself in front of Men Changshan. As she spoke, Zuoying followed her, pointed at Liu Nian and cursed. Trash, do you still have the nerve to come here? Your skin is thicker than a city wall. It was, your husband asked me. Liu Nian deliberately in a green tea tone, your husband is amazing. Fuck you, grandma. Zuoying suddenly grabbed Liu Nian's hair. You are looking for death. Let go of me. At this time, Liu Nian did not dare to knock down Zuoying. If he flies out now, he will tear off a strand of her hair. He had specifically done experiments and found that if his hair was broken, it would not recover. Also, it takes a long time to grow. As he spoke, he also grabbed Zhu Ruang's hair and pushed her onto the grass. This young man, damn it, is risking his life. Shit. Men Changshen saw the two of them holding each other's hair and rolling on the grass. He was rolling towards Men Changshen. He quickly moved his wheelchair away from them. Okay. Fen Lin walked over and grabbed their shoulders respectively. Let go. You asked him to let go first and then scolded me when he came. Do you really think I'm easy to bully? Zhu Ruang shouted coldly. Liu Nian. Let go. Fen Lin looked at Liu Nian. I won't let go ever, a little loser, kicking our nose in her face. If it weren't for the boss, he would have killed her a long time ago. Liu Nian was on top at the moment, pressing dead on Zhu Ruang. The two people were squeezed in front of each other. Very impressive. You won't let him go, right? Fen Lin suddenly held Liu Nian's head. Liu Nian's pretty face moved down uncontrollably and kissed Zhu Ruang's mouth. Fuck. Duh. The two cursed in unison and quickly let go. Wiping their mouths frantically, Fen Lin took the opportunity to grab Liu Nian's arm and threw her to the second master. Don't make trouble right now. I came to here for the sake of King, Fen Lin said to Zhu Ruang. Then, he turned his head and looked at Liu Nian. Let's go to the opposite side. Zhu Ruang, just wait for me. Liu Nian looked at Fen Lin. What was happening, and suddenly she kissed him. Chapter 504 The God of the Nine Netherworlds. Fen Lin paid no attention to Liu Nian's attack and was kissed just like that. What are you doing? Fen Lin immediately pushed her away and wiped her mouth. This is all my fault, boss. I haven't kissed anyone else. How could I let myself be carried away by this stinky woman? Liu Nian said with a smile. So now, boss, it's my first time. Liu Nian, you are looking for death. Zhu Ruang trembled with anger and ran again. Liu Nian sneered and accidentally caught her hair just now. Now that he is on guard, he doesn't want to touch him. All right. Fen Lin stood in front of Zhu Ruang. She and I have important things to talk about, so don't make trouble. I also want to watch from the side. Zhu Ruang said fiercely. No problem, Fen Lin said lightly. Now that Zhao King was caught, he had no intention of mediating between the two. Liu Nian walked towards Men Changshen with a smile, pushing the wheelchair behind him. Second master, why would the boss want such a woman? There seems to be something wrong with your aesthetic vision. I don't know about this. The thinking of you young people and old people like me is different. Men Changshen took out his pipe and said with a smile, I like brainless women more. Several people came to the yard together. From Zhu Ruang's villa, Liu Nian pushed Men Changshen towards the stone table and she sat on the stone bench next to him. Fen Lin pulled Zhu Ruang closer and they sat together. During the whole process and looked at Liu Nian suspiciously. Is that the pattern you are talking about? Liu Nian took out a white card from his body and placed it on the stone table. The pattern was exactly the same as what he saw. Qin Lilie. Square with a rumpus in the middle and a golden dot inside. Men Changshen also looked down. Yes, that is the pattern. Fen Lin nodded solemnly. Perhaps you don't know that this pattern is the totem of our Jia land, Liu Nian said with a smile. Whether it is on the door or the token, there is this pattern. Fen Lin touched his chin and said solemnly asked, is this the god of the nine nethers you are talking about? Liu Nian asked. Yes, you have heard of the origin of Yi Dan's gut eye, right? Fen Lin nodded, for the founder has 4 divine eyes. Then do you know where these 4 founders got the divine eyes from? Liu Nian suddenly looked at Fen Lin. Not only Fen Lin, but also Men Changshen shook their heads. The eye of the divine tower was given to them by the god of the 9 netherworlds, Liu Nian explained. Then what does King Lili's reincarnation mean? Fen Lin asked. The god of the 9 netherworlds was seriously injured. He met 4 ancient warriors and taught them skills to keep them young forever. The purpose is simply to protect the god of the 9 netherworlds. The god of the 9 netherworlds promised that as long as she is resurrected, you can give them whatever they want, Liu Nian said from the side. Fen Lin nodded secretly. It is not from no wonder the old man said that he had received the news. The people of the 9 nethers say that as long as the god of the 9 netherworlds is resurrected, they will be on top. It is understandable to believe in the so-called god of the 9 netherworlds. A random stone from the other party can make someone immortal. All of this is really seen. No wonder. A group of fanatical worshippers will shout long like the god of the 9 netherworlds when they die. Fen Lin thought of the first people who killed those from the 9 netherworlds. Boss, you're a bit naive in this matter, Liu Nian reminded. They are so fanatical just because of a lie. Fen Lin frowned slightly. Yes, these are the 9 major sects of the Jia land. When they were first formed, my grandfather and Tong Netherlands is resurrected. These people will also be resurrected and will receive more rewards. TCH. Does anyone believe this? A bunch of fools. Zhuang pursed her lips on one side. Not necessarily, Men Chengsheng said as he smoked his pipe. When a person can make others immortal, his words are the truth. Yes, the Jia God can make people immortal. Everyone has seen it. Jia the guard said she can be reincarnated, why can't others do it? Liu Nian looked at Zhu Boing. I see. If it were any other place, this line would be just a joke, but in Jia land, it is different. Fen Lin finally understood why those people were so fanatical. How did King Lily get reincarnated? Men Chengsheng asked. He was very interested in this. I don't know. I never knew my grandfather. I only heard some things from my father. Liu Nian paused and said, the god of the nine nethers is divided into two things, a body and a soul. First, the sect is in charge of the body and my grandfather is in charge of the soul. You're becoming more and more surprising, second master, is it true or not? Fen Lin looked at Men Chengsheng. If a person is really dead and wants to live again, I don't believe it. Men Chengsheng shook his head slightly. I don't believe it either, Zhuang continued. There are too many unknown things in our world and no one can be sure. Liu Nian smiled bitterly. Now this soul is in Liang Yingyan's hands. In other words, Qin Lili is incarnated. Fen Lin asked. Not bad. Liu Nian nodded and continued speaking. Qin Lili's physical body was too eye-catching. But the soul, when it was separated, was nothing more than a red flame. In what form it exists, only Liu Nian's grandfather, now only Liang Yingyan, is left. So he had the advantage. Liang Yingyan will steal his body one day in the future. Resurrect the god of the nine netherworlds alone. Liang Yingyan took all the benefits. But Tong Xiaobo couldn't snatch the soul because he didn't even know what this flame was. In order to even out both parties, Tong Xiaobo secretly sent out his body. That's how it is. Liu Nian suddenly patted the stone table. My father specifically said that the physical body is very strange. He is obviously 3 years old, but he is still in a baby state. Isn't it? Normal children will run away at the age of 3. Her or baby. Zhuang covered her mouth in surprise. Fen Lin was not too surprised by this matter. This simply proves that King Lili is not human. In human terms, he would be at least 30 years old. But judging by her personality, she seems like a brat. Okay, this is all I know. Liu Nian applauded. Fen Lin thought for a long time, then looked at Liu Nian and said, I'm going to help you invade the land of the nine netherworlds and become the lord of the nine netherworlds. How about that? The boss just wants to save your woman. Liu Nian's head raised his cheeks and asked with a smile. If I don't agree, will the boss hate me? What do you mean? Don't you want revenge? Fen Lin asked. You should know that I want to be the king, but I don't want to be the simple commander. Liu Nian spread his hands helplessly. I just want to kill the Lian family and want to use the remaining masters for my own. Now I'm not strong enough and I don't want to take action. Chapter 505. The method of stimulating generals. Liu Nian has his own plan. She will act only if she has enough strength. Attack now, let alone surprise the sect leader. He couldn't even get rid of the previous ones. Of course, there is another way, which is to kill everyone who is stronger than her. But Liu Nian didn't want to let a pile of trash and play house. If this is the case, he might as well establish a small sect of his own, with a group of bright and dark people. Be your own queen. If you don't agree, forget it. Then tell me the address of the first sect. Anyway, their main goal this time is not to destroy, but to rescue Zhao King. Boss, do you really want to enter the nine nethers? Liu Nian asked with a smile. The land of the nine netherworlds may be destroyed later. Now I just want to save King. When Fen Lin said this, killing intent suddenly flashed in his eyes. In front of the nine Netherlands, they have been attacking for a few years until now. Fen Lin is on the defensive. From now on, it's time to do the opposite. As long as he knew where they were and Fen Lin had nothing to do, he would be ready to kill a few of them. I really thought I was easy to mess with. Okay, I'll tell you the address. Liu Nian nodded, took out his phone, and sent the specific coordinates to Fen Lin's phone. Fen Lin checked the address and found that it was on an offshore island. No wonder the country searched for him for so long but couldn't find him. These are ruins with a very large area. The first 3 sects are all there, but the ruins are divided into 4 parts and cannot sense each other. Liu Nian took out the dagger from his body and squatted on the grass. And he explained the terrain to Fen Lin. The ruins are a circle clearly divided into 4 parts by a cross. Logically speaking, this place cannot be called ruins at all. Because this formation was created by the legendary god of the nine netherworlds. At that time there were 4 founders in total, so he deliberately named this so-called relic. Divided into 4 parts. The entrance is in the center of the circle. In other words, at the entrance there are 4 paths, front, back, left and right. Enter different places respectively. The first sect is in the north. The second sect is the west. The third sect is in the south. Fen Lin looked at the map drawn by Liu Nian and said, in other words, the third sect is sandwiched between the first and second sects. Yes, this formation is very strange. Let me explain it to you, you will know the reason. Liu Nian pointed to the lines that divided this place into 4 parts. These lines are transparent. Transparent. Aren't they 4 locations? Men Changsheng asked in surprise. No, for example, the first and third sects are standing near this line. They can see each other and communicate with each other, but they can't pass through. Liu Nian explained clearly. It's as if there's an air wall. Fen Lin touched his chin and smiled lightly. I seem to know the reason why they are looking for the third sect. Haha, it's what you think, the first sect and the second sect, they just want a buffer. Liu Nian said with a smile. For some small matters, they don't need to go to the exit. They only need to let the third sect inform them. As for important matters, they will go to the uninhabited area to understood. Fen Lin nodded. He looked at Men Changsheng and smiled. Second master, can you fight? Hey, my bones are crumbling when you ask. There are so many masters. Men Changsheng sighed softly. Second master, this time it's for King. Zhou Wang stood up and looked at Men Changsheng seriously. Come on, are you afraid that King won't be saved? Did I tell you where she is? Men Changsheng puffed on his pipe and asked. This Zhou Wang immediately lowered her head. She had subconsciously believed that Men Changsheng could rescue Zhao King. But if you think about it carefully, it is the land of Jiao. During this period, he heard a lot about the 9 nethers from Qi, who is men of the Fenglin Shrine Temple. That's a huge organization. No matter how strong the second master is, if he goes to someone else's headquarters, won't he die? Second master, I'm sorry. I was so excited just now that I thought you could beat them. Zhou Wang hurriedly apologized to Men Changsheng. What the hell? Damn girl, are you still trying to challenge me? Men Changsheng suddenly left. No. Of course not. I'm just worried about the second master. Zhou Wang had no idea at all and hurriedly waved her hands. Look, you said it was useless and you're starting to worry about me. Men Changsheng took out the tobacco again and put it in the pipe. Oh, I didn't mean that. The second master is my senior. I just don't want you to be in danger. When Zhou Wang spoke, she quickly looked at Fen Lin and asked for help. Fen Lin put his arms around Zhou Wang's shoulders and said solemnly. That's right. After all, this is the base camp of Jialand. If the second master goes there, I'm afraid he won't be able to return. Shit, man, you're the fierce general. Law. Men Changsheng lit his pipe and said with a smile. Then I will accompany you. Let me agree first, I won't fight, I'll just be responsible for capturing Tong Xiaoluo. Liu Nian looked at Men Changsheng and felt huge waves in his heart. How deep is this old man hiding? That's Tunzhuo. Go to Jialand base camp and capture him, it's very easy. In all of China there should be only a handful of people who can say such things. When he got the information from the supercomputer, the first person he checked was not Feng Lin, but Men Changsheng. I found that there was no record of him in it. Is it possible for an organization of the level of Jialand? In his eyes, he is also a country chicken and a dog. Is he now suddenly feeling that my dream? With the words of the second master, I feel relieved. Suddenly looked at Liu Nian. By the way, do you know the realm of Tong Xiaoluo? I don't know, but the sect leader, the 9 major sects are the weakest. They are all tempered realms. Liu Nian paused and said, as a boss, Tong Xiaoluo has to moderate himself in the late stages, even at the peak, right? Fen Lin's expression was solemn. In this way, is a level much stronger than himself. Originally, Fen Lin planned to play with him. It seemed that for safety reasons, the second master had to take action. Wow, Lao Meng, they are all here. At this time, the voice a middle-aged man came from outside the villa. The 4 people here turned around. I found a middle-aged man dressed in a casual suit and full of beard standing outside. Was riding a bicycle, he didn't even notice when he approached. Fenkin parked his Phoenix bicycle, took out a cigarette from his pocket, and walked in with a smile. It seems that I have saved my old bones. Boy, can I ask if I can help you? I'm a cripple who fears death. Men Changsheng smiled happily. Huh. Fen Chen suddenly looked at Liu Nian and walked over with a solemn expression. How is this possible? It's like in my dream. Chapter 506 Boast. Old man, what are you talking about? Do you know each other? Fen Lin rolled his eyes. His father and Liu Nian had never met. Really? Yesterday I had a dream. I dreamed that you two were going to get married and the witness was a god. Fen Chen looked solemn. I never tell lies. Oh no. Dad. You must be having a nightmare. Are you my old father? That can be considered my father. Liu Nian. What a shame. Shut up. Zhu Ruan pointed at Liu Nian and shouted. Fen Chen looked a little surprised. So you're Liu Nian? Dad, do you know? Yes, she is that bad woman. A smile appeared on Zhu Ruan's pretty face, showing a victorious smile. You lied to my son and you still dare to appear here. Fen Chen lit the cigarette, gave a drag and asked, that's right. That's so bold. Zhu Ruan nodded repeatedly. Liu Nian's expression was also a little abnormal. If you don't give birth to a child for my son, it's unreasonable, right? Fen Chen continued. Zhu Ruan nodded repeatedly. Yes, that's true, yes. Only then did Zhu Ruan react, angrily hugging Fen Lin's arm and shaking her. Fen Lin. Look at your dad. Stop talking nonsense. Fen Lin rolling his eyes helplessly. Why are you here? I'm here to meet someone. It should be here soon. Fen Chen sat on a nearby stone bench and asked with a smile, what are you talking about? Your son is my wife. I was captured by Jia Lan and we are discussing countermeasures. Men Changshan was the first to speak. Damn. Don't they want to hang out anymore? Fen Chen patted the table and looked at Fen Lin, with daughter-in-law. Zhao King, you probably don't know her, Fen Lin explained. That King was not introduced by Fen Chen after all. Grandmas. This small land of 9 secluded places has become more and more swollen recently. Fen Chen was talking, and there was an Audi parked in front of the gate of the villa. The first person to get off the bus was Zhang Bangxia. She was dressed the same as before, a complete middle-aged girl. Wearing a gothic skirt and white stockings, she wore a rabbit-shaped patch over her left eye. Not long after she got out of the car, a handsome middle-aged man in a suit and tie got out of the driver's seat. This person is Zhang Bangxia's father, Zhang Yu. Brother Chen. Zhang Yu noticed Fen Chen in the villa and ran over with excitement on his face. He hugged Fen Chen and said excitedly, I haven't seen you for so many years. I miss you so much. Get out. In a man's house, you hug and hug like a woman. Fen Chen pushed Zhang Yu away. Outside, full of disgust. Brother Chen, why did you call me this time? Zhang Yu asked with a smile. I always listened to you and practiced very hard every day for decades. Fen Lin next to him rolled his eyes and said every day. Are you practicing hard? My own daughter has reached the realm of spiritual enlightenment. You are only in the middle stage of your spiritual enlightenment. Is it still hard work? I got into a little trouble. You are an expert and I want to ask you for advice. Fen Chen put his arm around Zhang Yu's shoulders and walked out. Passing by Zhang Bangxia, Fen Chen smiled and said, Daughter-in-law, let's talk to Fen Lin first. Zhang Bangxia's little face was slightly red. Not out of shyness, but out of shame. In front of Fen Lin's father, his father was like his younger brother. If this is the case, how can I become the head of the family in the future? People from the Zhang family, Liu Nian murmured in a low voice. Fen Lin, what are you doing? Zhang Bangxia walked over and asked, still with his little hands behind his back. My people were kidnapped by Jia Lan and we are discussing countermeasures. Fen Lin saw that his father had such a good relationship with his own father, so he gave a rough explanation. The land of the 9 netherworlds. Zhang Bangxia was a little surprised. Why don't you go to Wu Jian's masters and kill him? I don't want to owe you any favors. Fen Lin had the second master and his father here. He knew what the second master was like and every time they asked him for help, he refused in every possible way. Either I'm getting old or my bones are crumbling. But the second master only complained and never refused. Therefore, Fen Lin's original plan was to ask the second master to take action. How about I go ahead and destroy them all? Zhang Bangxia raised his head with a smile. Ha, how cute, Liu Nian sneered slightly. She was indeed a young lady from a big family. The strength is really good, but it grows in a greenhouse. I never knew how cold it was outside. Not long after, Fen Chen walked in with Zhang Yu in his arms. You can do it, kid. You're getting better and better. My wife's vision is really right. Hey, my sister-in-law is amazing. Zhang Yu said with a smile next to him. You can see my strengths at a glance. That's right. I almost forgot about the business. Fen Chen suddenly looked at Fen Lin. The land of Jia has taken my daughter away from me. In-law. You are responsible for bringing her to me. Come. What? What do you mean? Let my dad save my competitor. Zhang Bangxia couldn't help it. My father is also very crazy. Although Grandpa sometimes speaks to him a few words, he dares to show him patience. Why don't you have a bad temper in front of this person? Shut up. Brother Chen promised me that you will be the eldest wife in the future, and to be honest, I am your sister. Of course I have to save her. Zhang Yu looked at John Banksia. Dad. What do you mean? Didn't you say before that I was the legal wife? Zhu Ruan shouted loudly. Hey, what? Li gave birth to a child. Is it a boy or a girl? Fen Cheng quickly picked up the phone and walked out incoherently. He pedaled his Phoenix bicycle and left quickly. HNPH. Zhu Ruan's teeth itched with anger. This smelly old man is so disgusting. Okay, since Brother Chen has spoken, I will definitely help. Zhang Yu looked at Fen Lin with a smile. Do you know the address? Let's go there now. That uncle. Fen Lin looked a little embarrassed. It's the land of Jiao. You should know this organization, right? Not only Fen Lin, but also Min Changshan here was very strange. Zhang Zi, king of the Zhang family, is also considered a big shot. His son must know the land of Jiao. The divine orifice realm is only the middle level of the earthly demon. His tone was so crazy. You know, isn't the leader of the first sect old Tong Shao? Zhang Yu asked calmly. What? Isn't this the land of the 9 netherworlds you're talking about? I'll go, uncle, are you too good at pretending? That's the land of the 9 netherworlds. Liu Nian really couldn't take it anymore. Her dream is to be the queen of the 9 Netherlands. It is also that father's wish. Why, in front of these people, it seems as if my dream has become a playhouse. At your fingertips. Don't worry, my daughter can tear the land of Jia to pieces. Zhang Yu smiled, held John Banksia's head, and said with a smile, tell me the address quickly. I have to go back after finishing my work. Fen Lin looked confused. Damn, do you want to come back when you're done? What do you think of the 9 nethers? One is in the middle stage of the divine ability and the other is in the early stage of the divine ability. Are you trying to boast? If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Mundo Fanfic Novellas, we cordially invite you to visit our channel. There you will find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 507 The Legendary Alchemist. Chapter 507 The Legendary Alchemist. Haha, boy, listen to me. Men Changsheng smiled and smoked his pipe. How could that guy Fen Chen leave a bag of wine and a bag of rice? This person must have some means. Men Changsheng was also very curious about the virtues and capabilities of a simple divine orifice. Do you underestimate Jialan so much? It is possible that he can hide his strength, such as possessing a secret technique similar to Fen Lin. He can change the cultivation level at will. But he calmly said that his daughter could also destroy Jiao to a great extent. Fen Lin didn't even dare to say such big words. Men Changshan didn't believe that this girl could be stronger than Fen Lin. Okay, let's confirm Zhao King's location first. Fen Lin took out the contact information left by Chen Yi from his body. He looked at Liu Nai Dao. You should be able to find out, right? Okay, give me a laptop. Liu Nai nodded. This is his strength. Fen Lin looked at Zhu Ruan and smiled. Wife, let her use the notebook. Hey. Zhu Ruan looked unhappy, but for Zhao King's sake, she returned to the villa and took out her laptop. Liu Nian first entered the number to see what mobile phone number it was. After that, he directly hacked the website. Then he added Fen Lin's mobile phone number. Boss, you can call. Okay, Fen Lin followed the phone number and dialed it. Liu Nian flipped the signal transmission on Fen Lin's mobile phone to see where it would be transmitted. Hey. An old female voice came from the other side. I am Fen Lin. I have contacted the country and they are willing to give me King Lily. Fen Lin asked in a deep voice. Where are we trading? Liu Nian started searching. In just a few seconds she just gives Fen Lin a nod of approval. I can't tell you the address until King Lily is in your hands. After Chen Yi finished speaking, he hung up the phone. Where? Fen Lin asked immediately. In a small county along the southern coast of the Yangtze River, there's a fishing village from the land of the 9 underworlds, Liu Nian explained. Usually, when we go to the land of the 9 underworlds, taking fishing boats to the high seas. In other words, King may not have been sent to the ruins now. Fen Lin thought to himself, this would be much simpler. Then let's set off immediately. I'm still busy going back to practicing, Zhang Yu said with a smile on his face. Fen Lin nodded and immediately called the old man and asked him to prepare a helicopter. I think Ji Guangling is also very happy that he can save Zhao King without King Lily. Sure enough, Ji Guangling agreed on the spot. Finally, Fenlin decided that 4 people would go. They are Fenlin the Union, Zhang Yu and Zhang Banxia. Men Cheng Shen's legs and feet were weak, not to mention that he had to protect other people here. After a while, the sound of helicopters appeared in the sky. The helicopter slowly descended from high in the sky. The 4 of them got on the bus together, and Liu Union handed the address to the driver in a familiar manner. She specifically parked the helicopter outside of this county. They were afraid that Chen Yi and the others would find the helicopter and move Zhao King in advance. A county along the Jiangnan coast. It's called Shanzhou. Fenlin and others landed in the county town. After reaching the ground, Fenlin took out the human skin mask prepared by Sakam Jin from the space ring. Chen Yi had seen the big beard last time, so Fenlin changed it to a small beard. You can now change cultivation levels at will. Except he couldn't hide it from Liu Union, who was very familiar with it. It is very easy to hide it from Chen Yi and Shang Kong. Wow! A space ring, Liu Union exclaimed enviously. No matter how envious you are, I won't give it to you. Fenlin said lightly. The boss is so cruel. Just now our father asked me to give birth to his son to apologize. Liu Union pursed her lips slightly. What? Are you also Fenlin's wife? Zhang Banxia suddenly put her hands on her hips and looked at Zhang Banxia next to her. Yes, but I'm here for my sister. Zhuang is my enemy. Liu Union showed a very friendly smile. Autumn. You have a good attitude. This woman, Zhuang, I will teach her a lesson in the future. Zhang Banxia's little face rose to the sky. Sister is domineering, I really saw the right person. Liu Union boasted and flattered her again. Zhang Banxia felt so light that it turned out that it felt so good to be a sister. She has almost no friends and there are many girls following her. A great pleasure indeed. Banxia, don't listen to her nonsense. She is just a partner, not a friend. Fenlin looked at Liu Union. I think this sister is pretty good, much better than Zhuang, Zhang Banxia said from the side. Thank you, sister, Liu Union called sweetly. The corner of Zhang Banxia's mouth raised, this sister can help her in the future. Fenlin rolled his eyes, Liu Union just wanted Zhang Banxia to fight Zhuang. Hotel, let's go there. Liu Union pointed to a hotel not far away. I'm going to use my computer to hack the camera and see if I can find your traces. Fenlin nodded. Every mission he had always done in the dark night, this time it is almost a mandatory course for Liu Union. If they can't find it, Fenlin and others will take action. This hotel has only a dozen floors. Some people went to open a luxury suite. When he arrived at the room, Liu Union walked towards the nearby computer. Fenlin and Zhang Yu were sitting here chatting. After about 10 minutes, there was movement there. Boss, look, Liu Union suddenly shouted. Fenlin and others gathered together and found Shang Kong's figure. He packed several cages of steamed buns on the seaside of the county seat. We then walked to the town on the outskirts of the county seat. There are no cameras there, but the person should be hiding nearby. Liu Union pointed to the screen and explained. Let me go, Fenlin said solemnly. You can't do it alone, right? Zhang Yu said with a smile from the side. Banxia, go with Fenlin. Uncle, there are masters in the temperament realm over there. But I may not have defeated them myself. Isn't it okay if you let me take Banxia with you? Fenlin's face was full of shame. That's how much trust he has in his daughter. Don't worry, as long as you can restrain those people, Banxia can definitely rescue them. Zhang Yu lightly patted Fenlin on the shoulder. Listen to Uncle Zhang, you are right. Okay. Fenlin looked at Zhang Banxia next to him and nodded heavily. The two of them jumped out of the window together and disappeared here. Liu Union still couldn't believe it. Zhang Yu had asked, Uncle, are you sure that the Divine Orifice realm can save people from the temperament realm? The realm is very important, but the realm is not everything. He stood up with his hands behind his hands and said calmly, now that the outsiders are gone, take the sinister things out of your body. Uncle, what do you mean? Liu Union suddenly took a step back and looked at Zhang Yu suspiciously. In other words, if you can understand, give me the god eye. You can't control this kind of thing. Zhang Yu stretched out his hand with an indifferent expression. You were looking for death. Liu Nion's face suddenly turned cold and she raised her hand, ready to kill Zhang Yu, but when I thought of Fenlin, I finally let it go. I have broken through the realm, so there's no need to waste time on this person. Liu Nion's figure instantly jumped out of the window. Liu Nion's eyes widened. There was originally a desert wasteland below her. But suddenly, the ground began to shake, spewing up magma from the ground. The next moment, magma rose into the sky, covering the sky and the sun. It seals everything around. There were red flames in all directions, covering an area of about 100 square meters. He stepped on the bubbling lava and felt the soles of his feet melt. At this moment, a person walked towards the magma wall directly in front. This person is John Yu. He had a cold expression on his face and there were strange unknown symbols floating around his body. Very similar to an oracle. There are red, blue, white, black. Liu Nian's eyes almost popped out, his throat trembled slightly, and he said in a deep voice, "Are you, the legendary alchemist?" Chapter 508 Sinister Object. Fen Lin was now approaching the small village with John Banksia. He looked at John Banksia and decided to ask, "Banksia, what powerful tricks do you have?" If John Banksia really had the ability to protect himself, Fen Lin would go all out to deal with those two masters. Don't worry about protecting Ginger Pinelli anymore. Didn't I tell you before? My left eye has great power. John Banksia pointed to his left eye that was covered by a rabbit patch. Oh no. How long has it been? Can you stop saying these kinds of phrases? Fen Lin rolled his eyes. Why you do not believe me? As John Banksia spoke, he removed his blindfold, revealing his left eye. The left eye looks like the right eye. They all have big watery eyes. Where is the power? Fen Lin asked. In fact, she was a high school girl and an irregular high school girl. According to Fen Lin's understanding, he should buy a colored contact lens and wear it on his left eye. Make his left eye look different from his right, which will be more convincing. I haven't shown it yet, why are you anxious? John Banksia rolled her eyes at Fen Lin and suddenly became angry. In the divine orifice realm, Kijin can already walk out of his eyes. John Banksia's right eye, like that of ordinary people, was shining slightly. But what shines in his left eye is not light, but a glowing triangle. Buzz. At this moment, a fountain of golden oracle bone floated from John Banksia's left eye. 5 centimeters from his left eye. Boom. The land at Fen Lin's feet suddenly turned into a swamp and his legs began to sink. Oh. Fen Lin instantly took a few steps back and looked at the swamp beneath his feet in shock. Is this a formation? Fen Lin pointed at John Banksia in shock. You are an alchemist. Alchemy has obviously been lost. This is what the old man said. What can Ginger Pinelli be used? I'm not. I was too playful when I was young and accidentally stabbed my left eye with a sharp object. John Banksia pointed to his eye and said, and my father used alchemy to carve several formations on my left eye. Your dad. Fen Lin suddenly remembered what happened today. His father asked John Yu for advice, but Fen Lin didn't pay much attention to him before. After all, there are so many things to ask for advice. For example, business matters or secrets of some large organizations. As a member of the John family, John Yu must know some things that his father doesn't know. Now it seems that I guessed completely wrong. Most likely, the issue Dad asked for advice on was training. Shit. Your dad is actually an alchemist. Fen Lin still couldn't believe it. Before, he had been mocking in his heart that John Yu was so pretentious even though he was only at the divine acuity realm. Now it seems that people really have the capital to pretend. This is a secret. You shouldn't tell it outside. My grandfather doesn't even know. The words in front of John Banksia's left eye gradually disappeared, and the ground returned to normal. Okay, there was still a mission, so Fen Lin put aside his doubts. Once the matter was over, it was not too late to ask again. Now that John Banksia has this ability, he can try it. On the other hand, in the magma world, Liu Nian felt like he couldn't breathe. Every time I breathe, my throat burns. Fear appeared in his eyes. What kind of power is this? Numbs the scalp. No wonder he didn't take Jialan seriously. He looked at John Yu in shock and said in a deep voice, Uncle, Fen Lin gave me this baby. This kid doesn't understand anything. He's hurting you. John Yu narrowed his eyes slightly. Seeing the oracle bones floating around him, he suddenly turned. Boom. The surrounding magma instantly rolled and turned into countless chains of flames, entangling Liu Nian. One of the flame chains turned into a hand and stuffed into the pocket inside Liu Nian's clothes. Take out the Eye of God. John Yu walked over slowly and held the God Eye in his hand. Fortunately, you are not connected to the body. Otherwise, Brother Chen would still look down on you like a daughter-in-law. The oracle bones around John Yu's body gradually dissipated. The chains of flame surrounding Liu Nian also disappeared. The surrounding magma world slowly receded. John Yu and Liu Nian were in the vacant lot behind the hotel, with no trace around them. This and could it all be fate now? Liu Nian asked in disbelief. It's false, but it's also true. John Yu jumped to the window of his room with a slight jump. Since the treasures had been taken away, Liu would definitely not leave, so she followed him. Uncle, your realm is more than just divine, Liu said from behind. The cultivation concealment formation is not difficult, Zhang Yu said calmly. God's eye is really important to me. Liu pointed to her body. Actually, I was transformed by the True Humanity organization. What? Girl, those bad habits only make you happy for a while. In the future, you will. It's too late to regret it. Zhang Yu asked coldly, what kind of transformation? The pituitary gland allows my body to repair its functions to an outrageous level. As Liu spoke, he slashed his palm with a dagger. The next moment, his wounds returned to normal. Researchers told me that human cells have a certain number of divisions. I won't live to be 40. Liu looked depressed, but if I have the God Eye and stay young forever, then this repairability will help me. Won't it become infinite? Who told you that if you fuse with this thing, it will become infinite? Zhang Yu asked. Yes, I guessed it. Liu was a little unsure, but still said, with the God Eye, you can stay young forever. Is this always true? This is true, but it is sinister. It's more harmful. Zhang Yu sat on the nearby sofa and said calmly, take the time to show your body to Brother Chen. Maybe he can do something about it. Can Fen Lin's father do something about this? Liu asked in surprise. I'm not sure, but it's better than using this thing, Zhang Yu suddenly asked strangely. Since you love it, why don't you use it? Currently, real human doctors have to check my physical condition from time to time. I don't want them to discover the divine eye in my navel. Liu also sat on the sofa. She was not sure if what Zhang Yu said was true. But he is so strong that she can't take it off. We can only wait until Fen Lin returns. When Fen Lin approached the village, he deliberately let Zhang Bangxi walk in front. Chenny and Chen Kong, who are hiding, will definitely be able to discover Zhang Bangxi's spiritual realm. As long as they move slightly, Fen Lin will be able to find them faster. Suddenly, Fen Lin noticed a breath approaching from the left foot. This person's state is in the last stage of penetration. At the very least, it should be Chen Kong. Fen Lin completely concealed his aura. Now he gives the impression that he is a normal and ordinary person. An old man emerged from the corner. It was none other than Chen Kong. Fen Lin pretended to be a nearby villager and walked over casually. Both of them were in the late stage of penetration, so Fen Lin was going to catch him first. Trading him for Zhao King can be considered a solution. Chapter 509 The Secret of God's Eye. Chen Kong was unable to see through Fen Lin's hidden cultivation and could only notice Zhang Bangxia. Then all his attention was on Zhang Bangxia. Furthermore, Fen Lin was wearing a human skin mask and was a normal-looking young man. She walked past him without even looking. Just looking at Zhang Bangxia in front of him. Zhang Bangxia seemed to know Fen Lin's intention and deliberately attracted Chen Kong's attention. Hey, I want to ask, this is, brush. Fen Lin did not use ki, he just took out a few silver needles and quickly pierced Chen Kong's body. Chen Kong's expression suddenly changed drastically and he jumped with all his strength, preparing to avoid it. But he only jumped half a meter high. Because his body suddenly lost energy and could not coordinate, he almost fell to the ground. Brush. Fen Lin placed the scalpel in front of Chen Kong's neck. Seeing this weapon, he was about to fight, but he stopped and said, it turns out to be Brother Fen Lin. Brother, I usually kill all the people in Jia-land. You are not a bad person. That's why I spared your life. Fen Lin calmly said, how about you use your life in exchange for Zhao King's life? My sister respects this sect master very much, even for my biological brother, she will not agree. Chen Kong smiled bitterly. What Fen Lin just said is correct, the Death Doctor almost never shows mercy to his enemies. If it were another evil earth spirit, it might be dead. Okay, how about I let you go now, but you can't interfere in this matter. Fen Lin continued to ask. This person can be considered righteous and can even be used for his own purposes in the future. As long as you don't kill my sister, I will never interfere. Chen Kong thought for a while and said. I promise you this condition, but you must also promise me that if I rescue Zhao King, you will not let him chase me, Fen Lin said expressionlessly. This time only he and Zhang Bangxia came and wanted to kill Chen Yi. Not so easy. Okay. Chen Kong nodded vigorously. Fen Lin. You can't believe him. He is a bad guy from Jia-land. He doesn't tell the truth, Zhang Bangxia walked over and said. Don't worry, I trust Brother Chen Kong. Fen Lin put a hat on Chen Kong's head and took out the silver needle from his body. Chen Kong narrowed his eyes slightly. This Fen Lin was indeed as rumored. He is a man of his word. If Fen Lin is a cunning person, then Chen Kong will definitely return the favor with cunning. But Fen Lin treated him like this and couldn't repay him kindly. "Brother Fen Lin, I owe you a favor." Chen Kong shook his body slightly, feeling the energy in his body begin to circulate again. He pointed his finger towards the left front and the figure disappeared here. Fen Lin followed the direction pointed out by Chen Kong and said, "I am responsible for dealing with that person. Can you rescue him?" "Don't worry, it's simple." John Banxia looked confident. "Okay, wait here. As soon as you feel the battle, leave immediately." Fen Lin completely hid his breath and walked in the direction. After walking through several streets of this town, Fen Lin came to a house near the beach. In front of us is the sea and there are many fishing boats parked on the shore. Fen Lin was here and really felt Zhao King's aura. In this simple house in front of me. Besides Zhao King, there was someone else beside him. Although the specific level cannot be detected, this feeling is definitely Chen's. Fen Lin moved his body slightly and faced Chen's breath outside the house. Taking a deep breath, Fen Lin suddenly ran out in a straight line. Boom. He broke the wall and the figure ran into the house. Zhao King was not tied up, just sat quietly on the side. Chenny was sitting at the table drinking tea. Fen Lin instantly ran over, collided with Chenny and rushed her out. John Banxia in the distance felt powerful fluctuations and a symbol appeared in his left eye. The next moment, his figure disappeared here instantly. John Banxia learned from Fen Lin about Zhao King's cultivation. Sensing Min Jin's mid-stage aura, John Banxia appeared in the room in the blink of an eye. Zhao King. John Banxia had seen this woman before, took her hand and disappeared without a trace. At the same time, Fen Lin directly threw Chenny into the sea. Chenny's tempered strength exploded. It was like a bomb detonating under the sea. Boom. The seawater rose into the sky and flew to a height of tens of meters. With murderous intent in his eyes, he looked at Fen Lin and roared, "Are you from Fen Lin? What do you think?" Fen Lin felt the breath behind him and wasted no time here. Once his people have settled, Fen Lin will go to Jia Land in person. Oh. Fen Lin's figure disappeared instantly. How could Chenny let Fen Lin leave? Just as he was about to follow him, Chen Kong's figure appeared here. "Sister, stop chasing." Chen Kong stopped Chenny. Zhao King was rescued. That. During Chenny's brief hesitation, Fen Lin's aura had completely disappeared. E Hotel. Fen Lin returned here and took off his mask. When Zhao King saw that it was Fen Lin, she immediately ran over crying and hugged Fen Lin. "I'm sorry for worrying you. Silly girl, why do you say you regret it?" Fen Lin rubbed Zhao King's face. Head and said with a smile. "Go home. Boss." Liu Nian suddenly walked over and whispered something in Fen Lin's ear. Fen Lin was shocked and looked at Zhang Yu on the sofa. "Uncle, did you take away the guard's eye?" He now knew that Zhang Yu was the legendary alchemist. Then, it would be easy to take things away from Liu Nian. "Yes, you actually gave your fiancée such a sinister thing. Do you know that you're hurting her?" Zhang Yu said lightly. "She is not my fiancée." After Fen Lin said this, he remembered what his father said. He also said that this should not be given to his fiancée. "Are you sure? If you don't care about his life or death, I can return the things to him." After Zhang Yu said this, he took out the god eye. Liu Nian didn't go looking for him, he somehow believed it. If it were really something sinister, I wouldn't use it. "Uncle, what exactly is this god's eye?" Fen Lin asked in a deep voice. "My dad didn't tell me. We can't explain this kind of thing clearly. There are two things that can be determined for now." Zhang Yu raised a finger. "First, as long as it is fused with the eye of Sheg, it will slow down the progress of cultivation. If a genius uses it, he will immediately become mediocre. Could it be like this? Could it be that the eye of Sheg can absorb people's cultivation?" Fen Lin asked in a deep voice. "I don't know. The first point is not the important point. The second point is the important point," Zhang Yu said in a deep voice. "The descendants of those who use the god eye must have a dirty atmosphere. Dirty environment." Fen Lin suddenly looked at Liu Nian. She was the descendant of the god eye. "Yes, Brother Cheng guessed that after this dirty aura is activated, he will become a puppet." Zhang Yu said lightly. "This bloodline is almost useless." That. Fen Lin suddenly looked at Liu Nian. She is from the Liu family lineage of Jia Land. Chapter 510 Falling with the West. "Oh really?" Zhang Yu looked at Liu Nian and said calmly. "My level is too low now to see it. Please wait a moment." After saying that, Zhang Yu closed his eyes. Buzz. In an instant, mysterious runes appeared around his body. These mysterious runes looked very similar to the oracle bones. It was almost all over Zhang Yu's body. Click. 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 These mysterious rooms shattered one by one, turning into light and dissipating. As the rooms disappeared, the aura on Zhang Yu's body became stronger and stronger. Fen Lin looked surprised and felt a huge wave in his heart. He, who was originally at the middle stage of his spiritual acuity, could no longer sense that one half of these runes had dissipated. Dude. What are you doing? Fen Lin couldn't believe it. What kind of person is this Zhang Yu? Don't think too much. My cultivation level is only at the middle stage of divine skill, which is low level. I am more free. The runes on Zhang Yu's body were half broken and then stopped. What's more, I have a capable younger brother, Zhang. Even if the family is without me, it will not be alone. Zhang Yu put his hand on Liu Nian's shoulder and mysterious runes floated out of his hand. It formed a circle and wrapped around Liu Nian's head. In an instant, Liu Nian's body was enveloped in a faint blue light. However, Liu Nian was glowing with black light. The area is the size of a fist. There is indeed a smell of dirt. Black, the blue is his own ki and the black is dirt. Originally, Liu Nian was still suspicious of Zhang Yu, but when she saw a black light flashing in his head she already believed Zhang Yu. What should we do? Fen Lin asked in a deep voice. Brother Chen can't do anything to eliminate an individual, much less me. Zhang Yu regained his strength and said expressionlessly. But group elimination is very simple, destroy this I inherited from the gods. A brief moment appeared around him. Of silence. Zhao King has been sitting obediently on the sofa. Although he didn't know what they were talking about, he didn't ask. Zhang Banxi was not interested in this matter, so she put on her mask again and lowered her head to play with her mobile phone. Liu Nian said calmly. In other words, Liang Yingin's god eye must be destroyed. You can't destroy it with normal means. You can bring it to me. Zhang Yu suddenly looked out the window and Yuan Fang said, Do you know, this filth has already infected us common people in China. Fen Lin's face became colder and he finally understood why his father was opposed to this kind of treasure. I can't say more. This news does not match your strength. Zhang Yu looked at the god eye in his hand and smiled jokingly, but don't worry, Brother Chen is here. These conspiracies are all dust. Fen Lin rolled his eyes. It turned out that Zhang Yu was his father's little Fen. However, Dad is so mysterious that maybe he really has investigations into these things. Fen Lin called the old man again and told him that Zhao King had been rescued. There was no need to exchange it with King Lily. Everyone took the helicopter back to Yun City. Fen Lin chatted a few more words with Zhang Yu and Zhang Banxia at the gate of the villa. It was like Zhang Yu said. They were in a hurry and were rescued in just a few hours. When Zhu Ruoying and others saw Zhao King return, they quickly surrounded her and asked her for help. Fen Lin looked at Yi Dan playing chess with the second master and stayed silently. Yi Dan has carried the god eye for more than 20 years and his body has naturally been contaminated. I was thinking about telling him about this. Boss, can you ask your uncle to take a look at my body? Liu Nian's voice was a little low. Because his dream was shattered. I originally thought that this surgery combined with the god's eye would be even more powerful. But all this is your own fantasy. Fen Lin stared at Liu Nian in front of him. This time she really helped a lot to save King. He then called Fenken. Hey, what's wrong? Fen Chen answered the phone and asked there. Fen Lin handed the phone to Liu Nian. Liu Nian picked up the phone and told Fen Chen about his surgery at Zhenren. Hey, you're too impatient, Fen Chen said over the phone, although I am a doctor, I have never been exposed to this kind of surgery. Hearing this, Liu Nian's face became more and more serious. Your main goal now is to enter the temperament realm as soon as possible. At that time, your body will improve further and your lifespan should increase, Fen Chen explained there, I'll tell you then. I really have nothing. Choice now. Thank you, uncle. Liu Nian hung up the phone and handed it back to Fen Lin. Fen Lin looked at Liu Nian's depressed expression and asked in a low voice, what should you do? Now, my plan life has been shattered. Liu Nian put his hands behind his back and showed a bright smile, however, I will do it if you survive my way, even if you become a heinous villain. No mercy. Fen Lin looked at Liu Nian calmly. Haha, it seems that the boss and I are really destined to be together. Liu Nian greeted Fen Lin, boss, I don't want to be the queen of the nine nethers anymore. You should have a bigger goal. Said after that, Liu Nian left here. Fen Lin looked at Liu Nian's back, secretly lost in thought. Fen Lin naturally heard the conversation between her father and her just now. It is possible that Liu Nian had been playing all his life. The poor man must have something wrong. Men Changsheng and Yi Dan played another game of chess and the result was the same as always. Yi Dan stretched and returned to the villa. At Yi Dan's seat, he raised his cheeks and told him what happened today. After finishing speaking, Fen Lin noticed that Men Cheng was smoking his pipe calmly, without any surprise. Then, he remembered. Second Master, the legendary alchemist. Haha, which of your friends is an ordinary person? I'm not surprised, Men Cheng said with a smile. Damn, you fooled me again. Fen Lin smiled and shook his head. This guy is pretending to be smart. Without saying his name, he was bragging about himself in disguise. Friend of my father, isn't it Men Cheng, on a desert island? Chenny and Cheng Kong arrived at the center of the island. There is an irregular hole. It is about 2 meters long. Entrance of the cave. The two looked at each other and jumped into the water. After sinking to the bottom of the water, I found a cave in front, behind, left and right. The first sect is in the north. The cave one after another. I found that the water outside could not flow into the hole and seemed to be blocked by an invisible wall. As the two went deeper, they came to a completely new world. Sky, but a vast ocean. But below, there's a vast land of endless mountains and forests. Mr. The guard guarding the door bowed his head respectfully when he saw Chenny and Cheng Kong. The two did not greet them, but quickly went deeper. Go to the deepest part of the ruins. The area here is very large and the mountains and forests are full of rooms and buildings. There are so many people that they are like a city. At the top of the deepest peak of the mountain is a palace built of white stone. Chenny and Cheng Kong walked in and found Tong Xiaoluo holding a family gathering. So, they leaned against the wall and waited in silence. On the stairs of the huge palace stood a middle-aged man with long hair. Long face, clean-shaven. It gives people a feeling of strength. This person is Tong Xiaoluo, the leader of the first sect in Jia land. He noticed Chenny and Cheng Kong in the distance and smiled lightly. What good news did you bring in front of me and my 213 children? Chapter 511 Brother, save me. Inside this huge palace, there are men and women, old and young. Some sit up straight and others behave slowly. Others simply lie down on the ground. These people are all sons and daughters of Tuanzilwo, including some elderly. Among them, the same month is also here. She was sitting in the corner, leaning against the wall, looking at her phone. Cheng Kong was about to speak. Chenny grabbed his arm and pulled him to his knees. When Tong Xiaoluo saw this, her smile faded and her eyes narrowed slightly. What happened? The hostage we captured was rescued by Fen Lin again. Chenny lowered his head to the ground. Tong Yu, who was looking at her cell phone in the corner, couldn't help but raise her face when she heard Fen Lin's name and looked at the two of them. It's Fen Lin again. Father, you are still too conservative. Kill him and everything will be over. A fat old man stood up and said. That's right. Now that we know where he is, why don't we go and kill him? Another middle-aged man stood up. Tong Xiaoluo sat high up, holding his cheek with one hand and saying nothing. Suddenly, his eyes fell on Tong Yu in the corner. Xiao Yu, what do you think about this matter? Then listen to your brothers and let them kill. Fen Lin got up from the ground, patted himself lightly. But dust and said with a smile, do you really think so? Tong Xiaoluo smiled slightly. You are the only person here who has been in contact with Fen Lin. Close with Wu Jian. Tong Yu looked. She turned around and said expressionlessly, the brothers seem to have forgotten why we're here. Why? A cold-faced woman asked calmly. Because we are weak. We're hiding here. Tong Yu looked at the woman jokingly. Wu Jian of the Secret Legion Unlimited Department can destroy the Jia land by sending only 1 or 2 Dakan realms. To destroy your ambition and increase the prestige of others. It is impossible to react by sealing the forest area and destroying it with a snap of a finger, ensuring that no gap is left. A middle-aged man stood up and raised his hands towards Tong Xiaoluo. Father, leave this matter to me. Tong, even if Fen Lin is killed, what will happen? Tong, live and deal with it. A man like this can pull off a honey trap at will. Tong Yong looked confident. Okay, then I will leave this matter to you. I hope you succeed. Tong to sit on the ground. Do you still want to use the honey trap? There is no shortage of beauties around Fen Lin. Zhao King has returned and the villa has returned to its previous peace. Everyone present not to leave again. However, Fen Lin's own plan did not fail. Jia land should also be destroyed. Now that he knows the location, Fen Lin can definitely tell Wu Jian. If this is the case, the country has taken away the treasures of Jia land for so many years. Fen Lin also wants to improve the people around him. Fen Lin, play with me. Kakiokiao took his mobile phone and ran to Zhu Ruan's villa. Fen Lin was lying on the sofa at this time, closing his eyes to rest. He looked at Kakiokiao, who ran in, and said helplessly, look for someone else. They don't play with me. Kakiokiao walked up to Fen Lin and said flatly. I don't like playing mobile games. I like playing between people. Fen Lin suddenly showed a lewd smile. Do you want to play? Do you dare? It will start in 3 years and there will be no time limit for the most serious. Kaikiokiao looked at Fen Lin calmly. Damn girl, you know a lot. Fen Lin closed his eyes again. Play with me. Kaikiokiao took off her boots and sat on Fen Lin's belly, shaking them constantly. Hurry up. When you were in Huangquan, what did you do when there were no games? Fen Lin asked. Kaikiokiao was suddenly speechless. Fen Lin at this time, Zuoren walked in from outside and saw Kaikiokiao sitting on Fen Lin's belly, but she didn't care. She wasn't nervous enough to be afraid of this little brat taking our man. After all, she doesn't even have the basic characteristics of a woman. What's happening? Fen Lin opened his eyes and as soon as he asked, he realized that Zuoren was already at the peak of her secret strength. Zuoren crossed her arms and sat on the sofa with a proud expression. With this movement, not only does the pretty face have a somewhat swollen expression, but the front of her body also swells a little. The second master said that in the afternoon, let me use all my strength to break through the limit, and then one pill will allow me to enter the transformation realm. Zuoren raised her face and said proudly. My wife is amazing. Fen Lin complimented her with a smile. She specially came here not only to praise herself. However, Zuoren's progress is really amazing. Zuoren nodded with some satisfaction and went out to train again. Aren't you going down yet? Fen Lin looked at Kaikiokiao upside down. Kaikiokiao lay on Fen Lin's body and her body began to tremble. What's the matter? Fen Lin grabbed Kaikiokiao's hand and found that her palm was cold. It's like grabbing an ice cube. It's okay, I come here once a month. I'm used to it. Kaikiokiao's voice trembled as she spoke. Fen Lin grabbed her wrist and felt her pulse. He asked in a deep voice, it must be a side effect of Sinku, right? Yeah. Kaikiokiao lay on Fen Lin's body, writhing in the cold. Kai Lin is so cruel, she doesn't treat you like a human being at all. Fen Lin hugged Kaikiokiao and returned to her room. In order to keep Sinku alive, it was forcibly injected into Kaikiokiao's body. Kaikiokiao's body is not yet mature, so there is a risk of death. You are not allowed to say that, Master Kaikiokiao looked ugly, but he still said with a swollen mouth. She doesn't know how she brainwashed you. Fen Lin took Kaikiokiao back to the room and removed her skirt. What are you doing? Kaikiokiao asked nervously. What else can I do? Of course it's a treatment. How can I do acupuncture in a loose princess dress? Fen Lin pouted, quickly took out the silver needle from his belt and inserted it into the various acupuncture points. Kaikiokiao acupuncture. Kaikiokiao, who was originally trembling, gradually returned to normal. Wait, I'll buy you some medicine. After Fen Lin finished speaking, he walked away. As soon as he had reached the gate of the villa area, he noticed a woman. Pay attention to her, not because she is beautiful. It is because she is a master in the divine realm. Brother, save me. The woman also noticed Fen Lin and ran over immediately. After a while, a middle-aged man with a late-stage spiritual awakening appeared in the distance. He said with a cold expression, I'll watch where you run. Chapter 512 Mega Outfit. Fen Lin looked at this woman, dressed in a long skirt with her hair hanging behind her back. Oval face, pretty eyes. Regardless of their figure or appearance, they are all around 7 or 8 years old. However, this level is not so good here in Fen Lin. We know each other. Fen Lin looked at this person calmly. He had been to Fangjia recently, so he completely concealed his key. In front of strangers, he should be an ordinary person. Instead of asking the security guards around her for help, she asked herself for help. The woman did not respond to Fen Lin's words, but instead hid behind Fen Lin and said with a look of fear, Brother, please save me. Boy, hand over this woman or I will kill you. The young man pointed to Fen Lin and said with a cold expression. Before Fen Lin could speak, 2 security guards at the gate of the villa approached. What are you doing? Do you know where this place is? Do you think we should call the police now? The 2 security guards pointed at the middle-aged man. The middle-aged man glanced at the woman, then turned and left. Waiting until the man disappeared, Fen Lin turned around and said, It's okay, he's gone. Thank you, brother, and thank you to both uncles. The woman quickly thanked Fen Lin and the security guard. You're welcome, it's easy. Fen Lin calmly waved his hand and went to the nearby Chinese medicine store. The woman looked at Fen Lin's back and suddenly followed him. Fen Lin discovered it naturally. However, he didn't care about the other party. Maybe it was just along the way. Until Fen Lin turned a few corners and stopped in front of the door of the Chinese medicine shop. The other party is still following him. Fen Lin then turned around and asked, Why are you following me? I have no money and I have nowhere to go now. Zhang Menton lowered his head and said timidly. I am married and I don't have space for you to live at home. You should go to the police station for help. Fen Lin had a feeling that this person should know him. He wants to get closer on purpose. I don't want to go to the police station. I can be your maid. I can do whatever you want me to do. Zhang Menton walked to Fen Lin, deliberately straightened his body, raised his head and said, I don't know what's wrong. I always feel that my brother can protect me. Are you sure you can do anything? Fen Lin had decided to see what he wanted to play. Yeah. Zhang Menton smiled and said, my name is Zhang Menton. You can call me Boss Feng. Forget it, just call me by my name. It sounds more comfortable. Fen Lin didn't say it. After saying his own name, he immediately changed the subject. I'm here to buy medicine, just a moment. This is often used to judge the contact person. The name is deliberately said halfway and then something else is used to distract the mind. The more nervous a person is, the easier it is to neglect them. See if you can say the name unconsciously. Fen Lin went to the pharmacy and bought some medicine for Kakiokiao. Then he walked out with a smile. Let's go back. My house is big, so don't worry. Thank you. Zhang Menton nodded with a smile. Why did that person chase you just now? Fen Lin continued to change the subject, asking him not to stop remembering the name. I am a member of a small sect. In order to seize our sect's treasures, they expelled us all. At this point, Zhang Menton rubbed his eyes and shouted, all my family members are dead and I am the only one. Exhaust. Okay, don't cry. Fen Lin held the medicinal materials in one hand and gently patted his back with the other, whispering comfort. Wow. Zhang Menton shouted and pressed his face into Fen Lin's arms. Menton, come on, let's add WeChat first. From now on, I will send you your job salary through WeChat. Fen Lin's eyes were half-lit and he took out his mobile phone. Thank you, brother Fen Lin. Zhang Menton wiped away her tears and took out her mobile phone. Fen Lin sneered in his heart. His original plan was to add himself on WeChat and let her change the notes for him. Unexpectedly, his secret was exposed before it even began. However, Fen Lin did not point it out, it was enough to know that their target was him. After adding each other on WeChat, Fen Lin took her back. Before returning, Fen Lin specially bought her a maid outfit. Especially the position in front of him exposed a large area. She was probably an enemy and there was no need for Fen Lin to be polite to her. Back at the villa, Fen Lin asked her to find a place to put on her maid uniform. Fen Lin went to the kitchen to extract the medicine essence. After a while, he carried a dark green medicine bowl and headed to his room. Kakiokiao still lies here. However, the cold on her body disappeared, and even though she was lying down, she was still holding her phone with both hands and playing games. Fen Lin rolled his eyes, took out all the silver needles, and handed him the bowl. Drink. Kakiokiao caught it and drank it in a few sips. Then he immediately grabbed his phone and started playing the game again. Fen Lin didn't bother talking to her, so he packed his things and went downstairs. As soon as he went downstairs, Fen Lin suddenly saw Zhang Menton standing in the corner. She had put on a maid's outfit. The skirt is black, but the leadership position is white, revealing about a third of the capital. Wearing white silk on the legs. Fen Lin didn't know why, but when she saw this outfit, she couldn't help but want Zhu Ruang to wear it too. That should be a very beautiful landscape. Brother Fen Lin, this is the first time I have used this. Zhang Menton lowered her head, looking embarrassed. It's okay. I'll get used to it gradually. Fen Lin wanted to see what this woman wanted to do. Fen Lin. Fuck you. Zhu Ruang ran in excitedly, wanting to share her joy with Fen Lin. Just now, she had successfully entered the transformation realm. But he saw Zhang Menton wearing the maid uniform. The smile on Zhu Ruang's face disappeared instantly and she asked coldly, who is she? Menton, this is my wife. Fen Lin hugged Zhu Ruang and introduced her. Hello, sister. Zhang Menton bowed with a smile on his face. Zhu Ruang couldn't be happy. At this time, Zhao King also walked over, preparing to go to the kitchen to cook. Fen Lin immediately stepped forward and took Zhao King's arm. Menton, let me introduce you again. This is also my wife. Hello, sister. Zhang Menton lowered his head again, but his face was a little ugly. It is not so easy to win Fen Lin's favor in front of these two beauties. At the same time, Mu Zhao also walked over. Fen Lin immediately grabbed her arm. Menton, she is still my wife, I will clean it up. Zhang Menton cursed inwardly. How many people are there in this Fen Lin? However, a smile still appeared on his face. Hello, sister. Both Zhao King and Mu Zhao looked a little strange. This was the first time Feng Lin introduced them like this in front of outsiders. You can go cook. If you don't know how to cook well, you won't be able to be a maid, Feng Lin said with a slight smile. Don't worry, I'm still very confident in my cooking skills. After Zhang Menton finished speaking, he entered the kitchen with a smile. Feng Lin immediately grabbed Zhu Ruang and sat on the sofa with her in his arms. Zhu Ruang puffed her mouth, turned her head and ignored Feng Lin. Feng Lin took out his mobile phone and typed a series of words. He came up with a very clever idea. Chapter 513 Acting. Zhu Ruang didn't notice it at first. Feng Lin ignored her and simply greeted Zhao King and Mu Xiaolu. The two approached separately and looked at the words above. Curiosity kills the cat. Although Zhu Ruang was angry, she still watched. After seeing the previous words, Zhu Ruang looked surprised. She is. Feng Lin immediately covered Zhu Ruang's mouth. He wrote another line, saying that the other party was in the divine realm. I could make her hear. Then, Feng Lin got up and walked out. The three people around followed Feng Lin. After leaving the villa, Zhu Ruang couldn't wait to ask, is she a bad person? It should be that only my enemies would send people to me as undercover agents. Feng Lin looked at the villa. When I eat later, I need your cooperation. How to cooperate? Zhu Ruang asked in a deep voice. Feel free to find trouble with her. One of us has a black face and the other has a red face. Let's see how long she can hold on. The corners of Feng Lin's mouth raised slightly. Living room. Feng Lin and others returned. After a while, Zhang Menton smiled and placed the food on the dining table. Feng Lin rubbed his hands with a smile and said to Zhang Menton, sit here and eat together. Okay, Zhang Menton nodded with a smile. What qualifications does a servant have to eat at the same table with us? Zhu Ruang looked at Feng Lin with an indifferent expression. That's right, I think my husband plans to marry her, right? Mu Xiaolu also began to show off her acting skills. You clearly said back then that there would only be three of us in this life, Zhao King also said. In an instant, Feng Lin and Zhang Menton's faces froze. Haha. Brother Feng Lin, sisters are right, I am working after all. Zhang Menton smiled again. Broken. Feng Lin patted the table and shouted coldly, how are you talking? Menton, sit down. She dares. Zhu Ruang also patted the table, got up and said, sit down, let's go. I hear my sister too. Zhao King and Mu Xiaolu stood up. Zhang Menton's smile gradually disappeared and he was shocked. Obviously, this was an excellent opportunity. So, he covered his face and shouted, oh. Brother Feng Lin, I'd better go. What go? Feng Lin grabbed Zhang Menton's arm and asked him to sit next to him. Sit down now, you can go. Feng Lin. Shameless, just get along with her. After Zhu Ruang said that, he turned around and left, heading upstairs. Zhao King and Mu Xiaolu followed him. The three of them entered Zhu Ruang's room and closed the doors and windows. Sister Ying, your acting skills are amazing. Mu Xiaolu smiled and gave a thumbs up. Zhu Ruang felt happy in her heart, but said lightly on her face, okay. Brother Feng Lin, it's my fault that you made the three sisters angry, Zhang Menton shouted. Don't cry, those three stinky bitches, I can't bear to see them for too long. And said viciously, with solid experience, I will kick them. Nose and face, take the time to let them get lost. Isn't it bad? Zhang Menton asked timidly. What you hear, who? The hell does he care? Feng Lin looked at the second floor and pursed his lips. If it wasn't what Dad wanted, who would marry them? Those three sisters are obviously beautiful women. Zhang Menton said with his head down. Farth. I like the ones that are just the right size. They are either very big or flat, without any beauty. Feng Lin looked at Zhang Menton and asked with a smile, which model? B and C. Zhang Menton lowered his head, making a sound as quiet as a mosquito. It's okay. It's according to my taste, Feng Lin whispered in Zhang Menton's ear. Let's go out and get a room to sleep today. This is not good. Zhang Menton's eyes were filled with fear. What? You don't believe me? I promise not to do anything, Feng Lin said with a smile. I will look for a villa in the next few days and we will move there directly. Really? Zhang Menton raised his head and asked. Of course, change your clothes and go find a room first. I'll fight them and then take the opportunity to leave. Feng Lin transferred 500 yuan to Zhang Menton from WeChat. Okay, brother Feng Lin, I'll wait for you. Zhang Menton immediately went to change into his own clothes. Feng Lin went to Zhu Ruang's room, and as soon as he entered, he shouted, Don't you want to let this go? Feng Lin, why are you crazy? Do you want to die? Zhu Ruang yelled at him. Feng Lin. Zhang Mengtan, who had changed his clothes, smiled and shook his head as he listened to the noise in the room. It was already night. He left the villa area and disappeared into the night in the blink of an eye. The mountains and forests on the outskirts of Yonsei. Zhang Mengtan appeared here and knelt on the ground respectfully. In front of her was a determined middle-aged man. This man is Tong Xiaowo's son, Tong Yong. Father. Zhang Mengtan shouted in a low voice. Mengtan, how did it go? There were several masters next to Tong Jiang. Except for one disher whom he brought in, the rest are the dead ones he has trained over the years. Tong Xiaowo currently has 213 children. More than a dozen died. Most of the children who died of old age. Tong Yong had no intention of doing this. Tong Xiaowo, this old immortal, has lived long enough. The second sect, the previous leader Liu, have been dead for many years. Now Lian Yingyan has controlled the second sect for so many years. But the first sect has always been in charge of Tong Xiaowo. Tong Yong must get his divine eye. Zhang Mengtan told everything that happened today. Tong Jiang touched his chin and sneered. In fact, you're a brat, but you don't like big guys. Don't you know that you can do a lot of difficult moves? Father, what should I do? Zhang Mengtan lowered his head and asked the boss. Mengtan, it must be your first time, right? Tong Yong asked calmly. Yes. Mengtan obeys his foster father's orders. My body is a bargaining chip for his foster father in the future. Zhang Mengtan said respectfully. Okay, then give it to Feng Lin. Only then will he absolutely trust you, Tong Yong said calmly. Yeah. Zhang Mengtan stood up after saying that. Father, what should I do after giving it to him? Kill him, Tong Yong said with a smile. It's better to kill him while doing things. At that time, a man's mind is relaxed. Father, I can kill him without sacrificing my body, Zhang Mengtan said in a deep voice. I have never been in contact with Feng Lin, but it was Degulisha who killed him. So, Feng Lin is definitely not easy. Tong Yong looked at Zhang Mengtan and said, if you didn't kill him, you won't kill him. You don't have to come to me again, father, I promise to kill him. After Zhang Mengtan finished speaking, he disappeared here. At this moment, Feng Lin was observing the situation here in the darkness in the distance. Even the second master can't see through his current hidden abilities, let alone these people. He had deliberately asked Zhang Mengtan to leave first just to see what she was doing. Now I knew roughly. But he was still not sure of the identity of the middle-aged man in front of him, so he could only continue to hide it. Sir, didn't you promise the sect master that you would capture him alive? A Disha elder who had broken through the realm asked from the side. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Mundo Fanfic Novellas, we cordially invite you to visit our channel. There you will find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 514 Add another fire. Yes, I made a promise to my father. As Tong Jiang spoke, the dagger in his hand slashed at the evil spirit's neck. But I'm not a good boy, Tong Yong said calmly. The old man looked horrified, tremblingly pointed at Tong Jiang, and finally fell to the ground. Master, is Degulixi's condition really just to kill Feng Lin? An old man dressed in a black robe walked over and used key to evaporate the corpse below. Yes, as long as Feng Lin dies, he will promise to enter the Nine Nethers with me. Tong Yong's voice was full of arrogance. At that time, my father and Lian Yingyan's guy, we were separated. Feng Lin in the distance raised his lips, so that's it. It seems that infighting in Jialand is a tradition. Master, be careful in everything you do. Dupaja city is very deep, be careful that he does not keep his word. Another old man in black robes approached. You are my confidants, so there's nothing wrong with telling you. Tong Jiang chuckled, not only Degulisha, but I believe Wu Jian also knows the location of the Nine Lands a long time ago. How is this possible? Master Wu Jian has the power to reach the sky. Yes, why don't you destroy Jiao? The old man next to Tong Jiang asked with a trembling voice. Because they know that the land of Jiao was once used by the god of Jiao to create a top-level killing formation. Tong Yong looked at the bright moon in the sky with a smile on his face. To get this formation, guys, I have suffered a lot. Feng Lin in the distance gradually narrowed his eyes. He had been surprised before. Logically speaking, the 25 Disha captured by the country should know the location of the Nine Nethers. But Wu Jian has not taken any action. This turned out to be the reason. However, Wu Jian's consideration is correct. For example, the formation we found in the island country sealed all the key, and even the strongest master was in vain. They are waiting for an opportunity. Come on, I hope you can complete the mission smoothly. After saying that, Tong Jiang led everyone deeper into the forest. Feng Lin also retreated from here. Since the country knows this location, perhaps the satellites in the sky are observing it all the time. If Douglas dares to go, Wu Jian's master will definitely pass him by. I have a feeling something big has come in, Fen Lin murmured in a low voice. Zhang Menton sent the hotel location to Fen Lin on WeChat. Fen Lin followed this place to find him. I found out that this hotel used to be owned by the Wei family, but now it belongs to Peony. He took the elevator and headed to the 8th floor. Come to room 806. He knocked softly on the door, and Zhang Menton opened the door. Fen Lin walked in and closed the door. Brother Fen Lin, I'm a little nervous. Zhang Menton lowered his head and looked at the ground with his cold eyes. It doesn't matter. Fen Lin's heart was not focused on Zhang Menton at all. He was thinking about the future development of Jialand. Brother Fen Lin, can't we do that kind of thing? Zhang Menton folded his hands and whispered, I have learned massage and my skills are very good. I can still serve you. Fen Lin sneered in his heart. I found him when I was 13 or 14. Those assassins would kill with a single blow while massaging their backs. Who do you think I am? Fen Lin pretended to be unhappy. I'm leaving. No. Brother Fen Lin, I was wrong. Zhang Menton quickly took Fen Lin's hand. The mission is to kill Fen Lin. He must not be allowed to leave. Brother Fen Lin, don't be angry, I promise you anything. Zhang Menton hurriedly said. That's all. Fen Lin nodded in satisfaction. He pointed to Zhang Menton and said, lie down on the ground. Zhang Menton was full of hatred. It seems like my body really has to be revealed here. However, now he did not dare to disobey Fen Lin and could only do as he was told. Fen Lin took out the branch he broke from the forest just now from the space ring. He slapped Zhang Menton's butt hard. What the hell and what are you doing? Zhang Menton turned around and shouted. I didn't expect you to be so cruel. I'm leaving, why not go back to find my wife? Fen Lin turned around and left without looking back. No. Zhang Menton was so angry that he almost vomited blood, but he still forced a smile. Brother Fen Lin, you were a bit harsh just now. This bastard is looking for death. Wait a moment and give it back to him tenfold. How can we play without much weight? Fen Lin looked disappointed. Forget it, I'd better go. Don't go. Brother Fen Lin, please, do whatever you want. Zhang Menton bit her teeth and lowered her head to the ground. Fen Lin walked over with a smile and spat her 5 times in a row. Let's see how long it can last. She said through tears. Brother Fen Lin, aren't you tired? Let me help you rest. This is what I like most, how can I be tired? Fen Lin said with a smile, the fight will last until tomorrow morning. Zhang Menton clenched his fists, he would have to return to hand in the work tomorrow morning. If Fen Lin doesn't die, I want to go to the bathroom. Zhang Menton was about to take action and slowly stood up from the ground. Kneel down. Take care of it on the spot. Fen Lin pointed at Zhang Menton and shouted. I'm on my knees, damn. Zhang Menton's eyes flashed, and he suddenly turned around and attacked Fen Lin. Broken. Fen Lin missed his attack and grabbed his face with one hand. It was so fast it sounded like a slap. Boom. Fen Lin's ki impacted his body. Zhang Menton's body was shaken violently and a mouthful of blood spurted out. Did you know this a long time ago? Zhang Menton looked at Fen Lin in disbelief. You don't even oversee, how dare you play honey trap? You feel too good about yourself, Fen Lin laughed disdainfully. Kill me. Zhang Menton closed her eyes and with it punched just now, she understood that Fen Lin was far superior to her. You're not going to die. I still need you to do things for me. Fen Lin let go of Menton's face and threw her to the ground. Do you think I'll agree? Zhang Menton asked coldly. Of course, because your mission is complete. Fen Lin is dead. Fen Lin pointed to himself with a smile. Zhang Menton looked puzzled. What do you mean? I will fake death and let you record a video and bring him back to life. Fen Lin prepared to add more fire and let Doug break dawn to attack Jialand. This scene must be very beautiful. Why should I do this? Zhang Menton asked expressionlessly. Because this is the only way you can survive. Your foster father doesn't treat you like a human being, so you should have been dissatisfied with him for a long time, right? Fen Lin could tell from their previous conversation. If it were used, Zhang Menton might agree directly. Needless to say, Fen Lin can be killed without sacrificing his body. Obviously, she kept her body naked and had her own plans. Maybe she has a man she likes, or maybe there are other reasons. You're very smart, I agree. Zhang Menton was silent for a long time and nodded. Fen Lin smiled, took out his mobile phone and dialed Sikam Jin's number. Chapter 515 Fate Death. Fen Lin sat here and waited. After a while, Sikam Jin appeared here. Zhang Menton looked at Sakam Jin in surprise. This woman is so beautiful. It turns out that Fen Lin is such a charming woman by his side. No wonder the beauty trap doesn't work. Fourth brother, help me put on death makeup. Fen Lin saw Sakam approaching and pointed to the back of his head. He took off his shirt, revealing his obvious but not exaggerated abs. He shook his neck slightly. Click. His cervical vertebrae showed a slight twist and he fell to the ground. As a doctor, he knew how to fool up big boys. The wound must be on the back of the neck. Otherwise, Dukalixia would definitely not believe it. A mere divine orifice realm, capable of committing suicide from the front. Sakam Jin came out and touched the ring, and there was a small box in his hand. Zhang Menton next to him was shocked. This person actually had the legendary space ring. Originally, she had the idea to do an actual sneak attack while they were doing makeup. Now it seems that it is not so simple. This woman should also be a teacher. Sakam Jin squatted on the ground, opened the box, and took out the doll skin inside. He then used a brush to paint on Fen Lin's neck. In just a minute, an incision-like wound appeared on the back of Fen Lin's neck. The white cervical vertebra can also be vaguely seen. This is a three-dimensional painting that looks like the real thing. Zhang Menton was stunned. This technique must be too good. Then, Sakam Jin cut the doll's skin with a dagger and attached it layer by layer to the back of Fen Lin's neck. He took out another bottle with a dark red liquid inside. He fell from the wound, blood ran down his neck, and he fell to the ground. That's amazing, Zhang Menton exclaimed and took out his phone to record that video. Not enough, Fen Lin reminded. While speaking, Sakam Jin suffered several scratches on Fen Lin's back. Another puncture wound was made in the heart of his back. It is also realistic and not different from the real thing. Finally, after pouring the red liquid near the wound, Sakam Jin put everything away. Okay, you can record now, Fen Lin reminded him and then closed his eyes. Zhang Menton nodded, turned on his phone, and faced Fen Lin on the ground. To be more realistic, his voice was broken. Father, Fen Lin was killed by me. I will dispose of his body and return immediately. After saying that, he saved the video. Fen Lin also stood up from the ground, holding his neck with his left hand from the side. Click. There was a crisp sound and the neck returned to normal. You can go. I will cooperate with you and won't go out for a short time. You can escape as far as you can. Fen Lin said lightly. Thank you. Zhang Menton took a deep look at Fen Lin and jumped out of the window. Okay, the game is still suspended. Sakam Jin put the box on the space ring and looked at Fen Lin calmly. Something's wrong. Fen Lin pointed to his back. You stay and rub my back. I can't see such a big piece of paint. Let your wife rub it, Sakam Jin said casually. Fen Lin's eyes suddenly narrowed and he said solemnly. Fourth, the game is important, go back first. Sakam Jin rolled his eyes at Fen Lin, his face and eyes perfect. It even gives people a charming feeling. Come on. With that, Sakam Jin jumped out of the window. Fen Lin was a man of quality and cleaned the floor before leaving. Returned to the villa. Zhu Wang and others were still in the living room. Seeing Fen Lin return, some people breathed a sigh of relief. Fen Lin, are you hurt? Zhao King noticed a big red spot on Fen Lin's neck, covered her mouth, and exclaimed in surprise. After Zhao King's reminder, Zhu Wang and Mu Feiyu also noticed it. This is painting. I was acting in a play. Fen Lin took off his shirt and turned his back to a few people. Who can help me rub my back? I can't reach my back. Zhao King originally wanted to speak, but she still closed her mouth and looked at Zhu Wang secretly. Zhu Wang did not refuse. Fen Lin nodded and went to the bathroom on the first floor. Zhu Wang's face turned slightly red as she followed Fen Lin. When she had just entered, she discovered that he had already taken off his clothes and was sitting on a small bench with his back to her. Zhu Wang's face turned red, but she was still behind Fen Lin. A legal wife must also have the dignity of a legal wife. It would be too embarrassing to stay like this. Then Zhu Wang squatted behind Fen Lin and started working. You are stronger, haven't you eaten? Fen Lin turned around and said. I will rub you to death. Zhu Wang gradually pressed harder. Hey, great. Fen Lin exhaled. This feeling was indeed different from that of the fourth child. No more. Zhu Wang stood up when she saw all the colors behind her disappear. Honey, there is more ahead, Fen Lin reminded. Out. Zhu Wang's face turned red, she cursed secretly, then turned and left. Fen Lin smiled and shook his head. Next, it was his turn to see what Dub Pa Zhao and Wu Jin were doing. Get up and run a few times. Fen Lin came back in his underwear. I opened the room and found Kakiokiao still lying here, playing with her mobile phone. She looked at Feng Lin, her face turned red, and she immediately covered her eyes with her little hands. Don't be embarrassed. Do you know what shy means? Feng Lin walked over and threw the clothes on the chair. Go away, I'm going to sleep. I will not leave. Kaikioki turned around, lying here, crossing our legs. I don't know anyone across the street, I'm not used to it. But you live here, I'm not used to this here. Seeing Kaikioki do it ignored, Feng Lin said helplessly and had no choice but to lie down. Deep in the forest outside Yun City, Tong Jiang watched the video on his phone and laughed repeatedly. Okay, as expected at Mountain. You did a great job. Thank you, foster father. Zhang Menton bowed his head respectfully. Did you dedicate your body to him? Tong Jiang asked with a smile. I did, but I didn't have the opportunity at that time. I killed him when I was massaging his back afterwards. Zhang Menton knew that only then would Tong Jiang let him go. Okay, you did a good job, you can go, Tong Jiang smiled. Thank you, foster father. Zhang Menton turned and left. Tong Jiang immediately sent this video. Lounging in the courtyard, Li Jian quickly picked up his mobile phone and walked to the living room. Lonely Dawn is sitting in a wheelchair, reading ancient books. Master, Feng Lin is dead. The heroes are saddened by the beauty. Maybe Tong Jiang has arranged for this woman to be at Feng Lin's side, Li Jian explained next to him. If that's the case, I hold him in high regard. Paja closed his eyes and pondered. He had guessed before that Tong Jiang would never be able to complete the task. He deliberately used it to cause trouble for Feng Lin. On his part, he could also give an explanation to Kai Lin, who was cooperating. It shows that he has been helping or immediately send someone to Yun City to take a look. If Feng Lin is really dead, Alexia pushed up her glasses and smiled, then I will go to Jialand. In this game of chess, I too became a chess piece. Chapter 516 Empress Feng Lin lay on the bed, his thoughts flying. He was considering whether to notify Wu Jian or not. I'll clean it up. Let me sleep. Feng Lin turned around, looked at Kaikioki and took the phone from her. It was very late and he was still playing with the key sounds muffled, the noise making his ears hurt. Give it back to me, my teammates will scold me. Kaikioki reached out to grab it. You deserve the scolding. They can win if you hang up. Feng Lin turned off his phone and finally felt much calmer. Kaikioki puffed her mouth and turned her back to Feng Lin. But after a while, he turned over again and whispered, I can't sleep. Right now I have frost all over my body. Your illness is not easy to cure. You must take it every month for half a year before I can cure it. Feng Lin yawned, go to sleep. Oh. Kaikioki held Feng Lin's arm and closed her eyes. This is an experience he has never had before, although he respects his teacher very much. But Kai Lin had never given him that strange warmth. The next morning, Feng Lin got up early and explained to Zhu Ruang and the others about the matter of suspended animation. If someone asks, keep a normal attitude and just say that Feng Lin is on a mission. Several people nodded together. He then went to the front door to inform the others. Feng Lin suppressed all his aura and acted like a homebody these days. Closing the curtains, Feng Lin returned to his room. Lying in bed looking at the phone. Kaikioki was holding our mobile phone and leaning on Feng Lin to play. It's pretty much what Feng Lin guessed. In the afternoon, a courier drove an electric tricycle and parked in front of Zhu Ruang's villa. He looked around and rang the doorbell. Zhu Ruang on the other side came out after Meng Qingshe and reminded her. Who are you looking for? Zhu Ruang asked. Hello, I have a messenger here from Mr. Feng Lin. The middle-aged man took out a package, looked at the name and said. Feng Lin is out. I am his wife. I will sign for him. Zhu Ruang approached. This is more important. Mr. Feng Lin must sign it in person, the middle-aged man explained with a smile. Then call him. He has to go out to work from time to time and doesn't come back for 10.5 days each time. Zhu Ruang seemed calm. He almost guessed that this person was definitely here to investigate Feng Lin. I just called, but couldn't get through. The middle-aged man was a little helpless. Then come back. After Zhu Ruang finished speaking, she turned around and left. Wait a minute, since you are his wife, I will give it to you. The middle-aged man handed a box the size of a basketball to Zhu Ruang. Why is this box open? Zhu Ruang's face was a little sad. Have you secretly looked at her? Yes, I have looked at it. There is a mobile phone and a video inside, the middle-aged man recalled. Specifically. Zhu Ruang opened it. There was no password lock on the phone, and all the screensavers were original. There is only one video in it. Zhu Ruang opened it and saw Feng Lin lying in a pool of blood. He remembered what Feng Lin said yesterday. It's over. Zurwan's heart trembled. She could play the domineering CO at ease, but he cannot do it in the face of a painful scene. Who are you? Why did you trip me with a fake video? Zurwan shouted sternly. This video is true. I am from the Secret Legion. The middle-aged man took off his hat. Impossible. My husband is invincible. He is the only one who can kill enemies. Who can kill him? Zurwan threw the phone to the ground forcefully, and the phone instantly shattered. He pointed at the middle-aged man and shouted, "Out! Get out of here!" At the same time, Dr. Zhao, who was far away, was watching Zurwan's performance. The messenger has a pinhole camera on his body. "Go back," Dr. Zhao said into the phone, and then he turned off the video. He took off his gold-rimmed glasses, rubbed his eyes, and sighed softly. "Feng Lin, I really think highly of you, master. Feng Lin is young after all. When you were young, you were also crazy and crazy. I almost died this time." Li Zhen laughed from the side. "That's right." Dub put on his glasses at dawn, his eyes shining with black light. "Since I am a chess piece, there can be no chess players. This chessboard should be bigger." A hint of fanaticism appeared on Lonely Dawn's face. "Notify Tong Yong that I am leaving for the Nine Nethers now." "Yes." Li Zhen nodded solemnly. After watching the messenger leave, Feng Lin immediately returned to his house. "I found Feng Lin in the living room. I let you down." "I didn't cry." Zurwan lowered her head and clenched her fists tightly. If Feng Lin's plan caused trouble, she might hate herself to death. "Wife, your acting skills are perfect. If you cry, it won't be you." The corners of Feng Lin's mouth raised slightly. It seemed like something big was coming. Infinite headquarters. Ji Guangling is carrying an electric guitar and playing music. Zhen Wenwen opened the door and respectfully took his hand. "Old master." Zhao Zhen, W bought a Dawn high-speed train ticket with great fanfare. "The destination is Shanzhou along the coast of Jiangnan," Ji Guangling said with a faint smile. "The land of the Nine Netherworlds." Zhen Wenwen's expression suddenly trembled. "I didn't expect him to be the first to lose your temper." "Haha. He did it on purpose." Ji Guangling laughed a few times and asked, "This time it seems a little troublesome." "You're alone, okay?" "Don't worry, old man," Zhen Wenwen said respectfully. "And black land, black buildings. It's full of dark tones." Kai Lin walked here and looked towards the black tower in the distance. And at the top of the tower, there were a pair of huge black wings, like those of an eagle about to take off. He arrived at the door of the tower and the doorman was not a stone lion. Instead, it looked like two bulls charging at each other. Kai Lin took a deep breath and she, who had always kept her thoughts secret, now seemed a little nervous. She exploded with energy and her black hair started from the roots and turned white, flowing to the ends. His hair turned silvery white. His eyes also flashed, revealing dark red eyes. Kai Lin opened the black stone door and entered the black tower. The light in the black tower only came from the luminous pearls of the surrounding pillars. But he could still see everything in the divine orifice realm clearly. Suddenly, he saw two burly figures leaning on rocks and eating bamboo. These are two pandas. But unlike the naive pandas in the zoo, these two give people a feeling of oppression like wolves and tigers. In front of the panda, there was a woman in armor. Only the woman's back could be seen and her long silver hair trailing on the ground. When Kai Lin saw this person, he immediately knelt down and said, "See the Empress." "Why are you here?" The Empress turned around, revealing a face as beautiful as an iceberg. Those red eyes were devoid of any emotion. It gives people an incomparable aura. He is 1.8 meters tall and wears black and red battle armor. The part in front of the body forms a large arch. At least a few models larger than Zuboing. But there was nothing incongruous about his height. On the contrary, it is like a natural work of art. W was going to attack Jialand in the morning. I hesitated for a while, but I should come and report. Kai Lin lowered his head respectfully. Chapter 517. Let you pretend again. The Empress just looked at Kai Lin and said no more. He turned around and walked deeper into the black tower. The long silver white hair drags on the ground, but it is impeccable. When the two pandas saw the Empress leave, they immediately threw away the bamboo in their hands. Follow the Empress. One of the pandas even looked at Kai Lin. Like a wild animal, staring at its prey. Kai Lin was still scared, but pandas were originally from the carnivorous family Poseidon. A real beast. "Follow me," the Empress's voice came from a distance. "Yeah." Kai Lin quickly got up and followed the Empress. Under the leadership of the Empress, they passed through the black tower and came to the back of the black tower. Here is a meadow, surrounded by vibrant atmosphere. When the two pandas got here, they started doing somersaults on the ground. Although the action is very cute. but their expressions cannot be compared to those of the pandas in the zoo. Just like a wild tiger and a captive tiger, you can tell the difference at a glance. Kai Lin, it seems that you have forgotten the mission I gave you, the Empress said calmly. Kai Lin's expression changed and she immediately knelt on the ground. Empress, I have never forgotten your teachings. Get up, you are also considered a member of the Jolly royal family. Our status is the same. The Empress looked at Kai lightly. If it weren't for the Empress, our Jolly class lineage would have been interrupted. Kai Ling said respectfully, you are a new leader. Don't talk to me, remember your mission and don't do it. Don't talk to those ugly people. Foreigners don't have any emotions. The Empress reminded indifferently. Especially those foreign men, they are not worthy of touching our noble bodies. Yes. Kai Ling said respectfully. Go back, Duplicity can't afford to make trouble. Don't bother me with such trivial matters from now on. The Empress looked at the playful pandas and said calmly. Kai Lin bowed slightly and turned to leave. Fen Lin was lying at home when he received a call from Zhen Wenwen. He immediately answered the call. What's wrong, old Zhen? Are you going to see our beloved again? Get out of here, uncle. Zhen Wenwen scolded. I have already arrived in Yun City, please accompany me. I defend Chen City. Mountain. Sure enough. Fen Lin was not suitable to go out now, so he sent his home address directly. After a while, Zhen Wenwen drove a red flag car and stopped at the gate of Fen Lin Villa. Fen Lin rubbed Kakiokiao's head and said, I'm going out for a while. After saying that, he quickly left the villa and opened the passenger door. Zhen Wenwen turned and left. And asked, what are you going to do? Normally I have to protect the base. Today, the old man asked me to perform a task. After a long time, I came out. I stopped by to see my younger sister, Zhen Wenwen said lightly. Let me guess, this is the 9 others. Fen Lin asked with a smile. Kid, I can't hide anything from you. Zhen Wenwen did not deny it. Fen Lin pursed his lips. The old man is so disrespectful that he did not notify me about such a mission. You are a good young man. The old man protects you and allows you to prosper, Zhen Wenwen said with a smile. I will definitely go. This incident was a big fire for Fen Lin Jia. If he doesn't go, he will feel sorry for himself. This time there are many difficulties. After so many years, I don't know to what extent Duplicity has grown. Zhen Wenwen looked at Fen Lin. If you really want to go, you'd better take your second master with you. Old Zhen, who was stronger, you are my second master. Fen Lin suddenly started gossiping. Old man is very low-key. I'm 5 or 6 years older than him, almost from the same generation. I had never heard of the name Men Changshen when I was young. Zhen Wenwen smiled and shook his head, but his strength has been verified by the old man himself. It's definitely not simple, damn. Suddenly, Zhen Wenwen stepped on the brake. But he still collided with the Ferrari in front of him. Because the other party suddenly turned in the opposite direction. At this moment, a young man wearing a vest and shorts came out of the driver's seat of the Ferrari. He came to Zhen Wenwen and knocked on the car window several times. Dirty old man, get down here. The young man shouted outside. Another woman wearing a short skirt got out from the co-driver of the Ferrari. She looks like a university student. She also approached and hugged the young man's arm, but her face looked around. It seemed like she was bragging that the man driving the Ferrari was her boyfriend. Grandpa, you're wasting your time getting to know my younger sister, Zhen Wenwen cursed secretly and rolled down the window. You're really blind. I dare to hit my car. Do you want to die? The young man pointed at Zhen Wenwen and cursed. That's right. The woman in a short skirt on the side also showed a disdainful smile. Old man, can you still drive at your age? You can't give the return on this path. It's all your fault. How dare you yell at me? Called. Zhen Wenwen had some displeasure on his face. Shit. Old man, you're about to be in a coffin. How dare you answer me? The young man kicked the car door and roared. Do you know who I am? I don't know. Zhen Wenwen shakes his head. The young man stuck his head out of the window and said, I'm telling you. There are people above me. Many people. Any of them can kill you. There shouldn't be many people on top of me. Zhen Wenwen said calmly. Fen Lin smiled and rolled his eyes. Damn, you're pretending again. The country is boundless and transcends all organized troops. Just like the former Jinyue Wei, they were directly subordinate to the emperor. Calculated in this way, Zhen Wenwen is one of the double riders of Wujian. There were really not many people up there. Soon after, the traffic police patrolling other sections of the road arrived here. Wang, it's me, Zhou. The young man looked at the police officer walking in the distance and hurriedly greeted him. The short-skirted woman next to the young man looked round with a proud expression. My boyfriend is really a big shot. His classmates are envious of him. Old sir, how old are you? Please show your driver's license and health certificate. The police officer ignored the young man and looked at Zen11 first. Tell me my license plate number. By the way, my name is Zen11. Zen11 looked at the police officer lightly. The police officer looked at the license plate number. It was not a fancy number, it was just a normal license plate. However, he still called the boss. You are crazy, old man, who do you think you are? The young man next to him pointed at Zen11 and cursed. What? The police officer turned pale with fright. Mr. Zen, our boss will be arriving soon. When the young man next to him heard this, he immediately felt confused. This Wang Shu was the captain, isn't his boss the head of the traffic police? His legs began to feel heavy. You met a big shot. Generally speaking, none of these bald guys are easy to mess with. Chapter 518 Shall you? Zen11 nodded and raised the window glass. Brother Wang, have I met a big shot? This young man turned pale with fear. His family is a group with assets of more than 1 billion in Young City. Not to mention the wealthy families in Young City, they're incomparable to those large families. Wang Shu said with a cold face, giving people a feeling that they were not familiar with each other. After a while, a middle-aged man trotted over from a distance. He came to Zen11's car and secretly looked at the photos on his phone. It was indeed this person. Boss. Wang Shu immediately took a few steps back. This middle-aged man's name is Zhang Wei and he is the person in charge of the Young City Traffic Police. He tapped on the window. Zen11 opened the window again. Hello, Mr. Zen, I'm Zhang Wei. I was called by superiors. I'm very sorry for the trouble I caused you. Zhang Wei said respectfully. Mr. Liu is inspecting Zhang City and is on his way. Wang Shu was on the side. This young man in shorts was instantly terrified. They knew the name Liu are often seen on TV. It is the top leader of Jiabai. She blurted out immediately. She was so scared that her hands were shaking and she slowly walked away. Is this old man on the same level as Liu Ya? Offending someone of this level is simply asking for death. I'll call him. Zen11 took out his mobile phone, searched for a number, and called him. Hey, Zhao Yu. As soon as Zen11 opened his mouth, the young man's head buzzed with fear. I didn't even hear what was said. Behind. His legs weakened and he almost fell to his knees. Call Yu Ya Zhao Yu. Don't bother, help me control his family later. I'm very surprised who was the person above him who can let me die. When Zen11 said this, the young man completely knelt down. Old sir. Grandpa, I was wrong, please forgive me. As for the woman next to the young man, she was also trembling with fear. She immediately went to the passenger seat of the sports car and left with her bag. She also made fun of some words just now. If they were taken together, his life would be over. Remember to find him and stop him first. He violated traffic rules. Zhao Yu will look for you later. As Zen11 spoke, he started the car and looked at the young man. He said calmly, don't be nervous. You are unlucky this time. It just so happens that the person above you is the person below me. After saying that, Zen11 began to leave. A confused young man was left behind. Fen Lin had long heard that Zen11 was not an easy person to talk to. However, because Fen Lin and his father have a good relationship with him. In front of Fen Lin, he had no airs. The impact just now was not serious, just a few scratches. Zen11 didn't care if the car was good or bad, someone would repair it later. Fengshan. Zen11 arrived directly. Stopping in front of the building at the top of the mountain, the two got out of the car and went inside. I saw Zhang Yu sitting on the sofa watching TV. Junior and younger sister Zen11 looked at Zhang Yu, nervously not knowing where to put his hands. Hello, senior, Fen Lin greeted him. Haha, sit down. Zhang Yu smiled at the two of them. Fen Lin pulled Zen11 and sat on the nearby sofa. Big brother, didn't you say that there was a mission on the phone? Zhang Yu looked at Zen11 with a smile. Yeah, but old Zen finally came out and wanted to come see his superior, Fen Lin said from the side. Of course, the main thing is that I begged old Zen to let him. Yes. That's it. It was Fen Lin who begged me to come. Zen11 nodded immediately. Oh. Fen Lin, what can you do? Zhang Yu asked with a smile. This mission is to solve Jia Land. I need to take away the masters around me. There's no one to protect my family members. I want to send them to the elders. Fen Lin had this in mind when he arrived. If the second master is taken away, Zhu Wang and the others will have no one to protect them. Therefore, Fen Lin's plan was to let them stay here for a few days. It's not far anyway, just half an hour by car. Yes. He insisted on asking me to come, saying that I have a good relationship with my younger sister and asked me to help him talk. Zen11 secretly gave Fen Lin a thumbs up. In fact, it was right to bring him here. Hadn't this topic already been discussed? Of course. This relic was originally given by senior brother. Zhang Yu nodded. Then I would like to thank you, senior. Fen Lin stood up, put his hands together, and asked with a smile, is King Yu there? King Yu and our teacher went to perform national tasks and naturally gave we such a good place. You have to work hard, Zhang Yu explained with a smile. Okay, Bao Zhen, talk to the elders here and I will pick everyone up. Fen Lin was about to stand up. Zen11 grabbed Fen Lin's arm and looked at him. Fen Lin rolled his eyes. This old man must be too cowardly. However, this also shows the gap between the two and the sect. An ordinary guy, an imposing goddess even after so many years. My subconscious mentality still can't be adjusted. Let me call him. It's too troublesome to go and have to come back, Fen Lin said with a smile. Yes. Let them drive here alone. Zen11 nodded. Fen Lin smiled bitterly and went out with his cell phone. He first called Zuroin and explained the matter in general. Let him ask Yishin and Jamu if they will go to live at home these days or if they will come here together. If we join together, we will let our own Wuling Hongwen. Zuroin, Zhao King, Mujalu and Kakioki out plus Yishin Jamu. My own Wuling Hongwen can do it all at once. To Yi Dan, if he doesn't have the guard's eye, he can live in the Yi family. This time he planned to take the second master and the fourth son with him. Jinguji Abka who is meant stayed in the villa to take care of them. What's going on? After hanging up the phone, Fen Lin returned to the villa and chatted with him for half an hour. Zuroin used the shared location to take Wuling Hongwen out far from the building and found Yishin and Jamu were also here. Forward. Fen Lin led a few people into the villa and smiled at Zhang Yu. Senior, I didn't cause you any trouble. All the people I brought here are girls. I think you only have girls. There, right. Zhang Yu stood up with a smile. Get up and walk towards the ruins. Senior, don't talk nonsense, I still have a man. Fen Lin motioned for everyone to follow him. Zen11 also followed Fen Lin. After Zuroin and others entered the ruins, except for Kakioki Ao, the rest were shocked with their mouths wide open. I didn't expect such a magical place to exist in this world. Last days. They are all experts. You can also ask them for advice, Fen Lin said with a smile. Zen11 felt that time was almost up, so he said goodbye with a smile. Little sister, it's time for me to go. Well, I'll see you off. Zhang Yu nodded with a smile. Fen Lin's Wuling Hongwen was placed here, and Zen11 brought him back to Yin City. The two separated. Fen Lin quickly arrived at Yishin's villa. Was ready and sitting in the courtyard. Men Changsheng stood aside, leaning on a cane. Second master, where is the wheelchair? Fen Lin asked with a smile. It is folded and put on the ring. I must say, this is really convenient, Men Changsheng said with a smile. Shanzhou. It is a county along the southern coast of the Yangtze River. It is very lively nowadays. Dougalixia was sitting on a chair. Wheels, with Li Zhen behind him. Haha, we are all here, don't you want to say hello to me? Dougalixia smiled slightly. Chapter 519 The Eve of Battle. Li Zhen looked back and saw a woman wearing a hanfu skirt walking out from behind a telephone pole on the street. This person is none other than Yan Zihua from Jinding. Back then, Fen Lin tricked someone with a space ring. For you, Dougalixia. Yan Zihua walked over with a calm expression. Yes, you must be Yan Zihua, right? Dougu asked with a smile. I didn't expect a big shot like you to know about me. Yan Zihua was a little surprised. Is your father here this time? Dougu asked at dawn. No, I came alone, Yan Zihua responded with a smile. Oh really? Dougalixia followed with a smile. Uncle Li, let's go. Li Zhen looked at Yan Zihua and pushed the wheelchair. Yan Zihua's face was a little solemn. I didn't expect him to really come out. Then, my father should also be here. Yan Zihua hit a psychological shadow because of the last formation. If the formation in Jialand is stronger this time, even his own father might be defeated. As soon as she turned around, she saw three people walking past her. The three of them were almost side by side. The one on the far left is a lame old man, leaning on a black cane and with a big bang. In the middle is a young man with a beard, tall and thin. On the far right is a woman with short hair, a mask and sunglasses. After the three people passed in front of her, Yan Zihua looked behind them. Especially the one in the middle always looks familiar to me. These three people are Fen Lin and others. Fen Lin learned a lesson from Old Yunan. If you use a middle-aged human skin mask, it will not match other skin. So this time, he simply asked Si Kongjin to prepare a youth mask for him. Another girl in the divine realm. It seems that many young masters will also come this time, Men Chengsheng said with a smile, leaning on his staff. Second master, I heard Liu Nine say that the offshore island is not very big. Fen Lin stopped and asked, should we wait here or go directly to the island? You're the boss, I will listen to you. For you. Men Chengsheng smiled. I hear you too. Si Kongjin, who was next to him, pushed up his sunglasses. Okay, then, you guys wait here while I go explore the situation alone. After Fen Lin finished speaking, he sped towards the beach. On the way, Fen Lin fixed his key on the top of a gin. If you're an ordinary person, going to the island will definitely make people suspicious. Come to the beach. Fen Lin found a fishing boat in the distance and was ready to set off. He hurriedly greeted. Brother, wait a minute, take me for a ride, I'll pay you. You will also go to the offshore island, right? Fen Lin looked a little surprised. It seemed that he was still too cautious. It turns out that many people have already left. Yes, I'm going to find my friend. Fen Lin nodded, took out 200 yuan from his body and handed it to him. Hand it over to the middle-aged man. No need, the two people in the cabin gave me 5,000 yuan and let's go to that place. The middle-aged man with short hair smiled and waved his hands, and he and a few people arranged the fishing nets. It will take about half an hour, you can go to the cabin and wait. I will call you when I arrive. Thanks, brother. Fen Lin was surprised. It seemed that the two people in the booth were both teachers. He was unable to discover the opponent's realm and most likely they all entered the temperament realm. Fen Lin entered the cabin and found an elegant middle-aged man with gold-rimmed glasses sitting in a wheelchair. Next to him was an old man with a goatee. Hello, are you going to the island too? Dada greeted first. Yes, my friend is there, Fen Lin replied calmly. Both of them were teachers. He didn't know whether the other party was an enemy or a friend, or whether it was better to be cautious. Did your friend tell you what is going to happen on that island? Dr. Lishao asked with a smile. As I said, he said there was a big show there, Fen Lin said with a smile. I see, we are also going to the theater. After Dr. Lishao finished speaking, he looked at the sea outside through the glass. Half an hour passed in a blink of an eye. The speed of this fishing boat is getting slower and slower. The middle-aged man with a shaved head walked in and said, Guys, we're here. Li Shan pushed Dr. Lishao's wheelchair out of the cabin. Fen Lin followed them and escorted them off his ship. When he arrived at this island, the corners of Fen Lin's mouth curled up slightly. In fact, the island is not large, with an area equivalent to a town. It's almost impossible to hide here. Dokudon. Suddenly, an old man in the distance roared. Fen Lin's pupils suddenly tightened, and the old man's eyes looked at the wheelchair. In other words, Fen Lin suddenly remembered some things Zhenwen once said about Dokudon. He said he hadn't done anything in years and had both hands bandaged. Isn't that the middle-aged man with glasses in front of me? It's Grandma's fault. It turns out that he is dyslexia. He will definitely destroy you if he takes the time. Fen Lin is very vengeful. This person continues to cause you problems. However, now is not the time to confront the opponent head-on. The road here is full of potholes and stones. Li Shan lifted the wheelchair and walked towards the center of the island. Fen Lin followed him, going to see who would come this time. In the very center of the island there is an entrance to a cave with water. There are a dozen people here. Fen Lin looked around and the weakest ones were all at the divine orifice realm. However, almost everyone pretends. There was only one person sitting on the branch of the big tree, upright and open. Fen Lin also knew this person. Poseidon. Yangan ranks first. Fen Lin can now see through his strength, asking himself. Until the last stage. Ha ha ha, it's really funny. You all come from higher powers, but here you don't dare to see people in their true colors. Deku appeared here at dawn, looked around and sneered. It's really fun. Lord Deku, it seems that you have forgotten our holy sea. Poseidon in a red suit jumped off the branch. As usual, he had long curly hair and looked like a medieval European aristocrat. You are exposed, but the other masters of your holy sea are not exposed. Deku held her cheek with one hand and joked with interest. If you don't show up, I won't go in. I'm different from you. Your time is worthless. With one sentence, everyone present looked at each other in shock. The reason they are here is to act as an oriole when a mantis stalks the cicada. There are many secrets in Nine Netherland, and the same goes for the treasure. In this world of ancient martial arts, a treasure can even change your destiny. Even if there's a risk to their lives, it is worth it. Ha ha, an old smile came from a distance, and an old man wearing a black robe took off his hat. This person is Zhenwen Win. It turns out to be Senior Zen, long time no see. Pacha nodded slightly. Zen Wensheng and Wu Jian has been exposed, why should we hide it? That's right, we will definitely recognize each other during the fight. Everyone around showed their faces. Fen Lin squinted slightly and found an unexpected woman. The fiancée his father found for him. Chapter 520 I am your father. This woman's name is Lu Yao. So far, Fen Lin has only seen her twice. Once is now. Another time, when he obtained the fire lotus seeds, Fen Lin was going to give one to his father. Dad asked Lu Yao to come find him. Fen Lin once touched her wrist. Now it has taken another step and is already in the full penetration phase. Besides her, Fen Lin also knew an acquaintance. Zhu Zize. Since he is here, Liu Nian will definitely come. Haha, I didn't expect so many acquaintances. Pacha raised his cheeks, looked around, and called out the names one by one. Long family head, Long Weisheng. Fen Lin followed Pacha's eyes, looking at the white-haired old man in the distance. It turns out that they are the Long family. However, Long Weisheng's eyes were always fixed on Zhu Zize. But Fen Lin knew that if his identity was exposed, Long Weisheng and Zhu Zize would definitely kill him first. Cardinal of the Holy See, Jackman Ducky looked at the white-haired, blue-eyed old man at dawn. Yunning Yunxiang, Zhang family Zhangzhu. At this point, Ducky Lixia looked at Lu Yao and smiled slightly. I don't recognize the rest. Ducky Lixia, keep your promise, since we have exposed Mian, it is time for you to come in. It was Yunxiang who spoke. He is a tall and powerful middle-aged man. I said I was going in, but I didn't say when. Ducky Lixia put her hands on her cheeks and closed her eyes. You, Yunxiang, as the second best person in the heavenly ranking, for a long time but not like this Ducky Lixia. Others are afraid of him, but Yunxiang is not afraid. Pacha, why did you bring us here? Everyone knows that there's a treasure in the land of Jia that makes people immortal. Pacha narrowed his eyes slightly. I just want more people to come and let us compete fairly. This will be fun. Haha, I didn't expect Senior Zen to be here, so I won't have anything to do. Zhangzhu put his hands in his trouser pockets and jumped into the distance. The sea disappeared without a trace. Ducky Lixia raised his eyebrows in surprise. This Zhangzhu was a bit interesting. Zen Wensheng on the one hand didn't pay attention to Zhangzhu. He took out his cell phone and told the old man what was going on here. His mobile phone, like Feng's. Lin, it was specially manufactured by the country and both had the function of connecting to satellites. Soon after, two more fishing boats approached in the distance. Several groups of disguised people arrived at the island. When these people noticed the many masters in front of them, they all approached cautiously. At the same time, Fen Lin's cell phone vibrated. He took it out and looked at it. It was a bunch of confusing text messages. Boss, I'm here. Don't ask me how I found you, because you are looking at your phone. Fen Lin immediately turned around. A man dressed in a black robe appeared next to him. The realm is the initial stage of penetration. It was undoubtedly Liu Nian. Liu Nian took out his phone again and quickly typed a line of text. Tell me, what's going on here? Fen Lin looked at the text message, thought for a while, and then told him the general situation. Of the second sect, so it can definitely help a lot. There is a deadlock here right now. Pacha had no intention of entering, since more and more people would gather. Things are going as Ducky Lixia wants. The key to breaking the deadlock I understand. Follow me, jump down and walk to the east. Liu Nian sent another message to Fen Lin. This Fen Lin had heard Liu Nian say before that the east side was empty and there was no one. There was no one there. Suddenly, Liu Nian accelerated and jumped into the water. Fen Lin followed closely behind. All the people watching were staring at the two people disappearing into the water. I was thinking quickly in my mind. Fen Lin sank to the bottom of the water and sure enough, he discovered that there were 4 entrances to the cave, front, back, left and right. He followed Liu Nian and headed east. A few meters from the entrance of the cave, the spring water seems to be blocked by an invisible wall and cannot enter. Finally, the two arrived at the eastern area. Fen Lin looked up at the sky and there was the ocean above. Infinite and magnificent. Boss, once the formation here is activated, the 4 ruins will become one and there will no longer be a wall there. Liu Nian removed his black robe, revealing his gentle and tearful face. Fen Lin asked excitedly, what formation is here? Do you know? It's called entrapment. Once the formation is activated, a wall of air will appear at the exit, and you can only enter but not exit. Liu Nian pointed out. Again. Looking at the high ocean, after that, many powerful monsters will fall from above. Fen Lin was surprised and immediately asked, how to break it? I don't know. If I knew, when you joined Dead Knight, I would have just quit. You found Master Wu Jin and killed Liang Yingyan to get revenge. Liu Nian looked helpless. What's more, I have never seen the formation activated. My father just reminded me, pay attention to race of monsters. Monster race. It's a bit troublesome. Fen Lin lowered his head and pondered. It seemed that he couldn't allow the second master and the fourth son to come. If something unexpected happens, the loss exceeds the gain. The boss, Tong Xiaobo and Liang Yingyan have a lot of treasures. This time they are just stepping stones. Liu Nian looked at the exit in the distance. The real battle is the battle between people to snatch the treasures. I guess this is Dug's purpose, Fen Lin said in a deep voice. I don't know how many people would like to have the god eye that can keep people pure. Fen Lin assured that besides humans, there should be other races that will also participate. Then it will eventually become a battle between races. Boss, my purpose this time is to kill Liang Yingyan. Liu Nian's face even seemed a little free and calm. I have hidden it for so long, it's time for revenge. My purpose this time is, coming warm, I will let the fire burn more fiercely. Fen Lin took off the human skin mask, placed the realm in the divine orifice realm, took out a black robe from the space ring and put it on. He reached the exit and jumped out of the water. In the outside world, there are currently more and more people, and everyone is a master. However, most of these people hide their identities. Many people. Fen Lin put his hands in his trouser pockets and looked around with a smile. Dug Lishao in the distance looked at Fen Lin's face. His face, which had always been calm, suddenly changed. Fen Lin is not dead. This is how I fell into the trap. Originally, he had no plans to resolve the 9 nevers in the near future. Heptars. W. Pacha chuckled. Fen Lin, I didn't expect you and Jia Lan to be in the same group. What? He is Fen Lin. Long Weisheng's eyes were full of murderous intent, although his grandson Long Tianao was killed by Zhu Zize. But this Fen Lin once openly insulted his grandson. This person deserves to die too. Liu Yang looked at Fen Lin in shock. Why was he here? Fen Lin walked towards Zhen Wenwen with a smile and whispered, Old Zhen, I don't think you should go in. Don't worry, I received an order from the old man to stay here for half a year. Zhen Wenwen smiled and spread his hands. Don't be in a hurry. Dug Lishao. Fen Lin suddenly pointed to Dug Lishao who was sitting in a wheelchair. I am your father. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Mundo Fanfic Novellas, we cordially invite you to visit our channel. There you will find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 521 Enemies Coming from the Sky. Fen Lin's voice was clear to everyone's ears. The next moment, everyone around him was scared. Even Enziang admired Fen Lin's courage. Even he would have to think twice about this kind of insult. Who was this person? He is only at the divine ability realm, but he dares to openly insult Dug Lishao. It's over, he's dead. Zhen Wenwen was also a little surprised, but since Fen Lin said this, obviously had his own considerations. If Dug Pachao really dares to act, he will naturally. He also hoped that Fen Lin was his younger sister's brother. Liu Yang narrowed his eyes slightly and when he saw this situation, he gave a soft step. Approach Fen Lin. UESHH. Fen Lin saw that Liu Yao was about to speak and immediately interrupted her. Sister, I'm not aiming at you. Now gradually became serious. Fen Lin obviously didn't want to see herself involved. She hesitated for a moment and then stepped back. Dug Lixia put her hand on her cheek and said with a slight smile. Fen Lin, do you think I can't kill you because Senior Zhen is here? Yes, that's what I thought. Fen Lin before finished speaking, Long Weisheng in the distance suddenly appeared. In the blink of an eye, he fell in front of Fen Lin. Boom. He exploded with power and his left hand was wrapped in golden light, like a golden sword. Attacking Fen Lin without hesitation. Oh. Fen Lin quickly retreated and jumped into the water again. Long Weisheng missed his attack and immediately looked at Zhen Wenwen next to him with vigilance. In just a moment, he decided to follow him. Everyone around saw that Long Weisheng had entered and their hearts began to sting. What if she gets the baby? Whoa, whoa. Finally someone couldn't help it anymore and ran in. People like to follow that crowd, and when they see so many people coming in, everyone follows them. He doesn't care about Dug Lixia anymore. There are 4 entrances to the caves below. To seal the forest, we must go to the uninhabited ruins in the east. He grabbed Liu Nian's arm and led her to escape deeper. Boss, what's wrong? Liu Nian asked anxiously. Fen Lin replied, I will bring people. If nothing else happens, the formation will be activated immediately. There are 4 entrances to the cave here and there are always people going to the other 3. As expected, Long Weisheng's destination was towards the north. He reached the first sect. The guards around looked at Long Weisheng and shouted angrily, who is it? You don't deserve to know. Long Wai Sheng waved his hand, golden light bloomed, and many guards around him were wiped out in an instant. Enemy attack. One stone caused 1,000 waves. The first sect was in chaos and countless orbs began to surge. Not only that, Yanjiang entered the second sect. He likes the fast pace. Now that you're inside, you need to kill the boss as quickly as possible. Then take the treasure and leave. He opened his arms and a blue light appeared around his body. The blue light became more and more substantial and finally turned into water. The water began to roll and condensed into ice swords, spreading throughout the body. Light like a hedgehog. The many masters who followed saw the state of Yanjiang. Some were stunned on the spot. The power of the elements. The realm of Daken. Sure enough, according to legend, the top ones in the heavenly ranking are all in the Daken realm. The Daken realm. Above tempering, the corresponding ability of this realm is to obtain the surrounding elements. With a blessing as the same element, the form and level of ki have completely changed. For example, the blue color surrounding Yanjiang just now is real water. It is drinkable. Like the 9 nethers, Yanjiang smiled, in front of you, I can kill you. Yanjiang turned into a blue light and rushed into the depths. Seeing this, the Jialan masters resisted. But their swords could not pierce Yanjiang's ice defense. Instead, the ice sword on Yanjiang's body opened him completely. It was like a large murderous weapon entering the uninhabited land. Deep in the second sect. A middle-aged man with a thin, skeleton-like face and an ugly face. His eyes were deep and filled with incomparable cruelty. This person is none other than Liang Yingyan of the second sect. He felt the terrifying aura there and immediately went to the back of the palace. The decoration here is very luxurious, like that of an ancient palace. On the floor in front is a white jade painting. He took out a dagger, opened his palm, and sprinkled the blood on the jade. Buzz. The blood glowed bright red, activating the white jade stone. Boom. The jade stone emits a white light that rises upward, penetrating the top of the palace and reaching the sky. The beam of direct white light touched the zenith here in the blink of an eye. That's the ocean in the sky. At the same time, Tong Shalwo of the first sect looked through the window at the direct beam of light reaching the sky. Has it been activated? In this case, there may be a state of great achievement. Tong Shalwo's eyes narrowed slightly, so let these people never come back. Boss, the formation is activated. Liu Nian pointed to a white line on the horizon in the distance. That location is the area where Liang Yingyan sees it. Fen Lin looked up at the sky. The ocean in the sky little by little began to rise and bubbles came out. It's finally here, and this time I must seize the opportunity. It is very difficult to cross a large realm, and the opportunity is very important. The scene before me is an opportunity. Boss, I'll go to Liang Yingyan's side to see how he deals with this formation. Liu Nian's body flashed with blue light, be careful too. Wow. After Liu Nian finished speaking, he turned into a puddle of water and sank into the ground. Swish, swish, and at this moment, many black dots appeared in the sky and the ocean. Here we go. Fen Lin looked around and hid in a building in the distance. He used his sword to make a cut in the wall. Completely hide your breathing and observe the outside situation. Boom. Boom. As if it were raining, many monsters fell from high places. There are spiders, centipedes, snakes. The key is that the smallest of these things is about the size of a car. Liu Nian just said, pay attention to the race. Fen Lin looked outside and found that these monsters were fighting alone. And it is a fight to the death. Suddenly, they found an old man in the middle stage of a spiritual awakening in the distance. The old man seemed to want to hide in the Fen Lin palace. However, the monster that was still alive was like a black ocean. He stopped instantly and attacked the old man. Fen Lin touched his chin and watched everything carefully. In just 30 seconds, the monster tore the old man apart. Then, they started fighting again. Race, but those two spiders were obviously the same race, but they fought so fiercely. Fen Lin frowned. Suddenly he stared at a snake and a spider. The two did not fight, but instead worked together to fight other monsters. Fen Lin looked carefully to see what was special about them. After a long time, Fen Lin discovered the heresy. After watching carefully for another 10 minutes, Fen Lin laughed out loud. He got it. Then, start taking action yourself. Chapter 522 Brothers. The first thing Fen Lin was sure of was that whenever these monsters saw humans, they would kill them first. With no one around, they kill each other. Fen Lin was glad that he could discover the secrets by hiding in an area where no one was around. There is a small pattern on the heads of these monsters. It is very similar to King Lily's strange eyes. Some patterns are squares with a dot in the middle. Some are diamond-shaped with a point in the middle. Some only have one point. Fen Lin has only encountered these 3 types of monsters with the same pattern so far, and they will not kill each other. Due to their huge bodies, the pattern is only the size of a ping-pong ball. Most people won't pay attention at all. Furthermore, there are no outsiders here in Fenglin, they are killing each other. You can see it quickly. If there are a large number of people here, the monsters will attack humans first and no one will be able to detect them. Boom. Monsters keep falling from the sky. The palace where Fenglin was hiding was torn apart by several monsters. After these monsters discovered Fenglin, they all attacked him. Fenglin burst into energy and ran out. All around, those densely packed monsters crowded together after discovering Fenglin. Fenglin took out the scalpel and looked around carefully. Currently, there are relatively few monsters with a single point on their body. Fenglin was going to try to rescue them. Boom. Fenglin's body was covered in a dark red light. He turned the scalpel in his hand and looked around with a smile. When these monsters rushed in front of him, Fenglin instantly disappeared. Swish, brush, brush. Fenglin's figure flashed and he didn't kill monsters with just moles. The remaining squares and rhombuses were all his targets. Even when facing the attack of the polka dot monster, Fenglin could only hide but not kill it. It's great. Fenglin had never felt such carnage. Control the White Emperor's holy sword and accurately kill monsters with square and diamond patterns. This high-intensity battle lasted for 5 minutes. Fenglin suddenly discovered that the monsters with only polka dots stopped one after another. Without these monsters in the way, Fenglin had 2 more White Emperor holy swords. Kill without reservation. These monsters are getting stronger and stronger, and at first they only have 1 level of resonance. What has fallen now has reached the realm of penetration. Brush. Fenglin's dagger cut off the head of the last giant snake and stopped with a smile. Many monsters with dot patterns in the distance were approaching Fenglin little by little. Fenglin tightened his grip on his weapon and was ready to escape at any time. These monsters finally surrounded Fenglin. One of the huge pythons lowered its head in front of Fenglin. He spit out the ladder and looked Fenglin's body. His eyes seemed full of doubts. At this moment, the python spat out a black bubble. The bubbles exploded on Fenglin's body and turned into a black, sticky substance. Shit. This smell, Fenglin rolled his eyes, it smelled so bad. Like a rotten egg. After vomiting, all these monsters dispersed and ran away. Am I one of my own? Fenglin hesitated, followed these monsters, and jumped on the python's head. Sure enough, the python was indifferent. The same goes for other monsters that exist. Haha. Brothers, I'll take you to pretend to beat. Fenglin jumped up and rushed to the front with a dagger. I found another group of monsters killing each other in the distance. However, even if those monsters saw Fenglin, they did not run together. Obviously, even monsters that have never seen him will treat him as the same type as long as he has aura on his body. In this case, Fenglin began to be busy with his own affairs. Now that there's no air wall, Fenglin runs towards where the second sect was. Suddenly, he met Long Weisheng and Lu Yao. The two worked together to fight the monster. Fenglin. Long Weisheng noticed Fenglin's voice and jumped towards him. Anyway, he is only at the divine orifice realm, so let's stop him first. When Lu Yao saw this, he opened a monster with a long sword in his hand and jumped down to rescue it. Lu Yao. Get away. Fenglin shouted loudly and faced Long Weisheng without hesitation. Fenglin, you, Lu Yao felt Fenglin getting stronger and froze in shock. Could it be that his strength is stronger than mine? Boom. Long Weisheng is a tempered state, with a powerful body and strength that far surpasses Fenglin. After the blow, Fenglin felt a sharp pain in his arm and his body flew backwards. But Long Weisheng also took a few steps back, his face was startled, and he said in shock, "You kid, you have hidden so much. You will die today. Kill me. Brothers, do it to me." Fenglin shouted loudly. Wow. Behind Fenglin, those black spot monsters had already caught up with Fenglin. Like a black torrent, rushing towards here. Fenglin, be careful behind you. Lu Yao looked at so many monsters, panicked in his heart, and shouted loudly. Long Weisheng smiled, but it was too late. The next moment, Long Weisheng and Lu Yao were stunned. As if they couldn't see Fenglin, the monsters ran past him one after another. The target is Long Weisheng. What? This is impossible. Long Weisheng couldn't believe it. Why didn't these monsters attack Fenglin? Countless monsters pounced on Long Weisheng and began to bite madly. Fenglin sneered and followed him, preparing for a sneak attack. Facing so many monsters, Long Weisheng did not dare to face them head-on and could only escape. Brush. A red long sword suddenly penetrated behind him and came out in front of him. Blood spurts. That. Long Weisheng's eyes were about to burst, he covered his wound and roared. It's you, Fen Lin. Do you want to kill me? Let's see if you are qualified first. Fen Lin's voice sounded behind Long Wai Sheng and slashed towards the back of the head. Following Kai Ling's lesson last time, he severed his cervical vertebrae this time. You die. Before Long Wai Sheng died, he burst out with shocking energy. There was an explosion in the air around him and the ground beneath his feet suddenly shattered. He suddenly turned around and grabbed Fen Lin's arm with one hand. Gather all your strength in the other hand. Cut to Fen Lin's neck. Buzz. Black smoke enveloped Fen Lin's body. Boom. Long Wai Sheng hit Fen Lin in the neck with a single blow. Fen Lin's body was like a cannonball, flying diagonally. It broke 4 or 5 large trees one after another before falling to the ground. Damn. Long Wai Sheng looked at the monster rushing towards him and cursed weakly. Swish, brush, brush. His body was torn apart by monsters like this. Fen Lin, are you okay? Lu Yao hurried to Fen Lin, crouched down and asked with concern. Fen Lin used Ash's holy glue to defend himself at this time, and it was nothing serious. His arm was still held by Long Wai Sheng's hand. This was cut before it was torn down, because he saw that there was a ring on the other person's index finger. Fen Lin took off the ring and felt it. It was indeed a space ring. At this moment, a large group of monsters in the distance rushed towards Fen Lin. Fen Lin immediately hugged Lu Yao and shouted at the monster, "She is my friend." The monsters looked at Fen Lin, then turned and left. Fen Lin breathed a sigh of relief. But just as he let go of Lu Yao, the group of monsters rushed towards Lu Yao again. Fen Lin hugged Lu Yao again. Sure enough, the monsters retreated again. It seems like they won't attack as long as I hug you. Fen Lin smiled at Lu Yao. Ha ha ha, that's really interesting. At this moment, a laugh came from a distance. Chapter 523. Obscene Development. Fen Lin and Lu Yao turned around at the same time and found a man in a black robe standing on a branch in the distance. Hearing the voice just now, the other party should be a woman. Is it you? Zook, I didn't expect you to come too. Lu Yao's face gradually became cold. Ha, you can come, why can't I come? The woman named Zook pulled down her black robe, revealing a baby-like face. However, this baby-faced head has a pair of black animal ears. They look like cat ears. Fen Lin was completely confused. He pointed to Zook and asked, "Who are you?" "Oh. I have never seen the world." Zook took off his black robe completely. She was wearing denim shorts, a long-sleeved upper body that exposed her abdomen, and behind her, a black tail swayed gently. "What the hell? Beast girl," Fen Lin said because he hugged Lu Yao for a long time. "The monsters from before are gone. It's relatively safe here." Then, in an instant, he appeared next to Zook. He grabbed Zook's black tail and pulled it hard several times. "It's very soft, almost like a cat's tail. You endure so fast." Zook was in the middle penetration stage. She was secretly surprised. Sidvits were a breed known for their speed. Unexpectedly, the man in front of her was beyond her perception. "Let your grandmother go." Zook's face turned red. He suddenly turned around, and 8-inch-long golden claws appeared on the 5 fingers of his left hand. Before he could attack Fen Lin suddenly stopped. He directly grabbed Zook by the tail and hung him up. "Ah!" Zook cried out in pain. He was about to curse when he discovered that Fen Lin's scalpel had landed on his tail. "If you dare to move, my tail will be cut off," Fen Lin said coldly. "No. Brother, I was wrong." Zook quickly raised his hands in surrender, and the claws on his fingers turned into ki and gradually disappeared. That's it. Fen Lin simply pulled his tail and jumped off the tree. After studying the tail, he began to study the animal's ears. "Let me go, you actually have 4 ears." Fen Lin discovered that in addition to the 2 animal ears on the top of his head, he also had human-like ears. But it looks good this way, just like ordinary people wearing animal ear hairpins, which makes them look cute and cute. If there were animal ears only on the top of the head and not on the sides, it would look ugly according to the aesthetics of common people. There are prosthetic ears on the top of the head and their functions have deteriorated. Zook pushed Fen Lin and explained, "It's like your human appendage. It's so magical." Fen Lin touched his chin and looked. "In Zook? What's so magical? You don't even have a tail, it's so wobbly." The tail behind Zook swayed slightly. Fen Lin studied medicine and there is still an incompletely degenerated coccyx in the human skeleton. This shows that early humans also had tails. However, with evolution, the tail gradually disappeared. "I really don't believe it unless I see it with my own eyes." Fen Lin shook his head with a smile. "It turns out that there are many types of people. However, this is logical." Fen Lin wasn't that surprised when he faced Kai Lin earlier. Because Kai Lin seems more of a foreigner in appearance. For example, he is Chinese, with black hair and black eyes. Caucasian, yellow hair, blue eyes. Kai Lin is silver white hair and red eyes. Basically, there isn't much difference. But this Zook has an animal tail and ears. The difference is enormous. Fen Lin, let's go. Lu Yao took Fen Lin's hand and walked away. Haha, so you're Fen Lin. I heard that you are Lu Yao's fiancé. Zook followed Fen Lin with his hands on the back of his head. You, a Homo sapiens, can your kidneys handle it if you marry Lu Yao? What do you mean? Fen Lin stopped and asked. You don't know, right? Lu Yao is not a human race either. Zook followed Fen Lin with a smile. That. Fen Lin looked at Lu Yao in front of him and scolded. Nonsense. Do you think I'm blind? Fen Lin, let's go. Don't listen to their nonsense. Lu Yao looked a little ugly and pulled tightly close the forest. Fen Lin, this race is good at disguising itself and its needs in that area the greatest among all races. Zook followed and smiled. Fen Lin also noticed Lu Yao's expression, narrowed his eyes slightly, pushed away Lu Yao's hand, and asked, really? As a fiancé, Fen Lin felt that she must know the truth. Yes, I am not a human race, but she is talking nonsense. Demanding such things is a stigma for our race, Lu Yao explained seriously. Boom. 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 At the same time, another group of monsters fell from the sky. This time the monster changed from the previous reptile to a beast. Tiger, lion, leopard, etc. They all have black hair and black smoke coming out of their bodies. The aura on their bodies is huge, almost as big as Fen Lin's. However, the amount is relatively small. Fen Lin hugged Lu Yao and quickly hid in the palace in the distance. These beasts ignored Fen Lin, but looked at Zook and attacked her. We'll talk later. After Zook finished speaking, the figure disappeared without a trace. Fen Lin and Lu Yao hid in the building. I discovered that it was an armory, surrounded by swords and other weapons. They hide behind a box. Fen Lin felt that the outside atmosphere had disappeared, and then asked with a smile, what kind of stigma? I'm an honest person, I care more. I am a ghost clan. Lu Yao lowered his head. Looking a little embarrassed, we are a clan. Many women are proud of a man's strength, which eventually turns into bragging. How to brag? Fen Lin was curious. Those girls will talk about that kind of thing when they have nothing to do. Lu Yao's face turned red and he took a deep breath to explain. For example, if I say, my man can do it 10 times. One day, it is equivalent to a human woman saying, my man can do it in 1 day or 10,000 yuan. Fen Lin suddenly realized that this was what he meant. For ordinary women outside, the only thing they can show off is to compete with others to marry well. Money is capital. Even if they marry a rich old man, they feel very honored. But Lu Yao's race is different. The capital that their women show is the strength of men. If you have a high level of cultivation, you will have face. The face is bigger. Over time, it was gradually stigmatized. It turns out that there's nothing to be ashamed of. Every place has its own customs. Fen Lin smiled at Lu Yao. Just now Zook said that you are good at pretending. Can I see what you really look like? No. Lu Yao returned to his previous seriousness and said solemnly. Except for our parents, the appearance of our women can only be shown to our husbands during the bridal chamber for the first time. Is there still such an operation? Fen Lin now scratching his head. Don't worry, I'm not ugly, Lu Yao hurriedly explained as if guessing Fen Lin's thoughts. It's okay. Fen Lin didn't care. It was still unknown whether these fiancés would be successful. He sensed the surroundings and asked, are you following me or fighting alone? I'm just here to practice this time, Lu Yao said seriously. Okay, look at the marks on those monsters. Just kill squares and rhombuses, Fen Lin briefly explained to Lu Yao. So that's it. Lu Yao looked at the monsters and nodded vigorously. Fen Lin, what are your plans? Me. Let's grow up first. Fen Lin scolded Ducklish this time and must save enough monsters. Only then can we have the capital to fight. At the same time, Liu Nian had already arrived in front of Liang Yingyan. Liang Yingyan was fighting a monster and there was only one person next to him. It was Liang Dai. When Liu Nian arrived here, he immediately knelt down and said, Step Master, I heard that there's trouble in Jialan and I came here to help. Chapter 524 Entering the Tempering. Get lost. No one can get close to my palace. Liang Yingyan stopped and looked at Liu Nian. Yeah. Liu Nian lowered his head, his eyes filled with murderous intent. Along the way, what he saw were monsters attacking humans indiscriminately. I don't know how to break this formation at all. Many monsters around the palace discovered Liu Nian and rushed towards her. Liu Nian said, and just as he was about to escape, there was a huge commotion behind. Boom. A middle-aged man appeared here with his body surrounded by ice. Yanxiang. Liu Nian was delighted. He didn't expect him to kill here. I thought this killing formation was very powerful, but it was nothing more than that. The ice on Yanxiang's head slowly melted and he looked at Liang Yingyan with a playful expression. Yanxiang. Liang Yingyan's expression remained unchanged. Do you think this formation only has these? Oh. What else is there? Yanxiang asked strangely. Liu Nian quickly retreated Yanxiang and listened carefully. The current monsters have broken through from the initial divine aperture to the penetration level, Liang Yingyan said with a slight smile. As long as the formation is not closed, in 5 minutes, the tempering level will arrive, and then it will come. Be back in Kingdom. 5 minutes. It won't take 3 seconds to kill you, Yanxiang sneered, and the energy in his body exploded with full force. This formation is called pit slaughter. Those who escape from the pit will naturally be expelled inside. Liang Yingyan clasped her hands and a white light suddenly appeared around Yanxiang's body. Oh. In an instant, Yanxiang disappeared in front of him. Why don't you come out? Your mission is to be an undercover agent for real humans. You are not needed for things here. Liang Yin looked at Liu Nian with cold eyes. Yes. Liu Nian was surprised. The move just now should be a transfer formation. She decided to withdraw first and contact Yanxiang. At the same time, Yanxiang appeared at the starting point. But there was a transparent wall at the exit and I couldn't get out at all. Yanxiang looked up at the sky and large bubbles began to appear in the ocean. Like boiling water. From Grandma. According to what she said, when the Dakan kingdom falls, isn't that the day of our death? Yanxiang's eyes gradually became serious. Outside the ruins. Li raised her cheeks like before. Behind him is Li Shen. This time, apart from the two of them, only Zhen Wenwen was left not far behind. Senior, you're really not going in? Dugu asked at dawn. I want to go in too, but the superiors don't allow it. Zhen Wenwen looked at Dugu Lishao. It turns out that your purpose is to make others act like mantises. This is a weakness of human nature. As long as you can lure them here, there will always be someone who will. I can't hold my breath. Dugu looked at the pool at dawn. No one is coming up now, it seems like they're trapped. It should be that Yanxiang and Jackman of the Holy See are both in the Dakan realm. They can catch them. No. Simple, Zhen Wenwen said calmly. I'm ready to go in. If the eldest doesn't go, Fen Lin may die. Dugu Lixia stood up from her wheelchair. Maybe he's already dead, Zhen Wenwen joked. He believed in Fen Lin in his heart. After all, he was Feng's son. Chen, there must be life-saving tricks at hand. Senior said this, I feel relieved. Dugu walked towards the pool step by step. Uncle Lee, wait for me here. After saying that, he jumped into the pool. Heptars. It's so refreshing. Fen Lin's shirt was torn by these beasts and was covered in blood. He was shirtless and holding a sword in one hand and a scalpel in the other. Come face to face with these beasts. This feeling as never had happened before. As time passed, Fen Lin Shao's blood boiled. Under the baptism of death, he again and again surpassed his limits. These monsters are getting stronger. There has been a gradual tendency to transcend the temper. However, Fen Lin's companions also have levels of temper. Fen Lin took advantage of their fight and continued to kill and attack them. Taking the elixir and stinging at the same time, the high-intensity battle made Fen Lin's skin red. The blood burnt and flows rapidly through the body. Boom. Suddenly, Fen Lin's power seemed to break through his limits. Everything burst out from the pores. The temper is finally here. Fen Lin stood on the head of a python, excited. With the advancement in strength, Fen Lin added another white Emperor Holy Sword. Now one type of ki can be used 4 times. But there are 2 types of Fen Lin, which can be used 8 times. The last tiger in the distance was beaten to death. Peace returns here. All the beasts looked at Fen Lin above the python, seeming to consider him their leader. Fen Lin calmed his breathing and looked around. It was dark, like dark clouds in the sky. It's almost developed. Fen Lin jumped off the python's head, pointed into the distance, and shouted, "Come on, I'm here." He ran towards the front. Thousands of monsters followed Fen Lin. Its movement was like a great earthquake and the entire world shook. Dugu met Tong Jiang at the rear of the second sect at dawn. The game is really big this time. Tong Jiang had a hint of madness on his face. He doesn't care about other people's lives. Because Tong Xiaobo didn't care about his women and children. Tong Yong knew him too well. Anyway, he had endless youth and then he would catch women. It only takes a few years to create a new generation of offspring. Where is the eye of this formation? Alexia pushed up her glasses slightly. I won't tell you Tong Yongjong is a fool. This position is the capital he can use to trade with Alexia. Haha, you're very careful, Alexia laughed. Now go and take the divine eye from Liang Yingyan and give it to me, Tong Jiang said calmly. Don't worry, it can't transfer you. Before, Tong Jiang had told the general situation of the formation. Only. Duck stepped forward of dawn and disappeared here. In front of the palace. Liu Nian's ki has been exhausted and she has only broken through to the initial stage. Faced with these monsters, the only option is to escape. Suddenly, his pupil shrank. Duck Lishao's figure appeared next to him at some point. Liu Nian. I know you and someone asked me to kill you. Duck Xiaofen calmly raised his hand. The eyes behind the lenses were very calm, as if they were about to crush an end to death. At that moment, the mountain began to shake violently, like a great earthquake. His expression changed and there was so much powerful aura that he couldn't even feel it in such a dense atmosphere. I can't waste time, Duck Lishao said with a wave of his finger. Boom. A bloody hole appeared on Liu Nian's neck. Without even looking at him, Duck ran to the top of the mountain. Liu Nian lay on the ground and smiled helplessly. He can recover from his injuries, but he has no strength. Looking at the python running towards her, she closed her eyes. Stop. A voice came from far away. Boss, Liu Nian's closed eyes suddenly opened, and because he was so excited, his nose hurt and he shed tears. Chapter 525 Extreme Joy Leads to Sadness. This python turned out to be of the dog species. He smelled the aroma there and turned his head to look. At this moment, Fen Lin had arrived in front of Liu Nian. Boom. Many powerful beasts followed Fen Lin closely. This python is considered the lowest level and you can see tigers, lions and other beasts in front of you. He was so scared that he immediately fell down, joined the team, and headed towards the rear. Boss, are you unsuccessful? Liu Nian found that all the beasts in the distance were looking at Fen Lin with fiery eyes. Yes, thank you for the reminder. Fen Lin took out the key replenishing pills. I just took a lot and I have a few more pills, all for you. Boss, don't go out there, Lishao was up there. Liu Nian was also a little scared now, but she didn't expect him to be so ruthless when looking at the gentle and elegant man. I'm looking for him. Go right now. After Fen Lin finished speaking, he turned around and shouted, Brothers, follow me. Boom. All of these monsters followed Fen Lin. The magnificent palace trembles violently. Alexia was as straight as a sword, raised his glasses slightly, and said, I won't kill you. Just hand over the god eye. He is a cautious person and leaves a way out in everything. Liang Yingying naturally knew about the formation eye. Haha. It seems that Alexia will also die here. Liang Yingying put his hands together and activated the transfer formation. However, Alexia was in front of him. What? Impossible. Liang Yingying's cold eyes were covered with bloodshot eyes and he roared. Tong Shao. It's you. Brush. A line of black ice rose from the ground, freezing Liang Yingying's legs. The black ice continued to spread upwards and finally only my navel, my hands and my head remained unfrozen. Apparently, in addition to the god eye, Lishao also noticed the ring on Liang Yingying's finger. You can only be considered a second-rate organization. It is my honor to speak with you, Lishao said calmly. As he spoke, he looked at Liang Dai next to him. Liang Dai was still dressed as usual, wearing overalls and two pigtails. Deep dark circles under the eyes and dark red lips. He looked at Alexia suspiciously and backed away little by little. Don't worry, I don't normally kill pretty girls, Lishao was talking when he suddenly turned to the side. Oh. 3 fiery swords stabbed into the ground. Immediately afterwards, Fen Lin walked in with a calm expression. Fen Lin. Liang Dai shouted. Damn. What a garbage formation. Forget it, if those monsters can't stop Lishao, they can't even stop you Fen Lin. Liang Yingying roared angrily. This formation is very good. Thank you for helping me train bodyguards. As soon as Fen Lin finished speaking, countless beasts broke into the palace. The walls here were shattered. All of these beasts were entrenched around Fen Lin, staring at the people in front of him. The sound of gasping was like thunder, shocking everyone present. Fen Lin did not expect that the monster that Liang Yingying chose was also a monster with only circles. Impossible. Liang Yingying's sharp eyes widened. The beast he had worked so hard to rescue actually obeyed him. Fen Lin, aren't you afraid of death when you appear in front of me? Lishao pointed his finger at Fen Lin. Call. Fen Lin remained impassive and black smoke appeared in front of him, blocking the attack. I am afraid of death, but I am even more afraid of your death. Fen Lin's body was surrounded by dark red flames. Don't think I can't kill you because of Ash's holy goo, Dougalixia sneered, took a step forward and appeared in front of Fen Lin in an instant, grabbing Fen Lin's neck with one hand. However, Fen Lin's neck was like a flame and his hand went straight through. Yui Douga turned around instantly. The real Fen Lin had cut off the god eye from Liang Yingyin's navel. Take the ring off his hand. Ah! Liang Yingyin grunted in pain. Fen Lin. You are looking for death. Dougalixia Feng's calm face finally showed murderous intent. Unexpectedly, I made Fen Lin's wedding dress. If it weren't for frozen Liang Yingyin, Fen Lin wouldn't have been able to take the treasure from him so easily. Brothers, do it. Fen Lin shouted. Boom. Countless black monsters, like huge waves, rushed towards here. Fen Lin grabbed Liandai by the shoulders, broke through the wall and escaped. Dougalixia wanted to chase after Fen Lin, but there were too many monsters. He had no time to worry and could only deal with these monsters first. You have been snatched too. It seems I saved you in vain. Fen Lin fled to the foot of the mountain and knocked Liandai down. I won't kill you, just come if you want revenge. I have a way to undo this formation, but you have to promise me one thing. Liandai suddenly grabbed the arm by Fen Lin. Fen Lin asked, what's wrong? If the formation stands up now, he will definitely leave and give Zenwen another favor. Let him snatch the god eye from Tong Xiaoluo. One for the country and one for me. This is the best ending. I want to see King Lily. Liandai looked solemn. Did we just meet? Fen Lin asked. Yes, I want to say a few words to you. Liandai nodded. I promise you. Fen Lin and Liandai were already familiar with each other, not to mention that she was only at the master level. I can't afford waves. Okay, go to the exit now. After Liandai said that, he ran away. Fen Lin hesitated for a moment and followed Liandai's words. Liang Yingyan only took Liandai with him, so he must like him very much. It is normal to tell him the secret of training. Liandai in the distance noticed Fen Lin walking away, so he stopped. He covered his head and said viciously, hurry up. Since the formation started, my head is going to explode. As soon as he finished speaking, Liandai's big eyes began to tremble madly. Suddenly, his eyes rolled back in his head, revealing a bright red pattern. This pattern is the same as under King Lily's eyes. But this one suddenly felt more real and stranger. Little girl, when you were a dying baby, your father hid my soul in you. If I leave, you might die. Liandai's voice was still childish, but the tone became very slow, like that of an old man. He stepped on the ground and a huge pattern appeared under his feet, just like his eyes. Boom. The pattern emitted a white light and shot straight into the sky. A huge ripple appeared in the sky high above the sea, spreading in all directions. Wherever he passed, all the monsters below turned into black smoke and slowly dissipated. Fen Lin had been touching the air wall. When he saw a strange phenomenon in the sky, the wall of air in front of him disappeared. He fled immediately. The exterior world. Zenwen looked at Fen Lin in surprise. Why are you here? Old Zen, the formation has disappeared. I snatched the god eye and space ring from Liang Yingyan. Go and snatch Tong Xiaoluo. Fen Lin immediately said, we shouldn't leave it to anyone else. Okay. Zenwen immediately jumped into the pool without even thinking about it. Fen Lin raised the corners of his mouth with a smile. This time it was he jumped high and jumped into the sea, preparing to swim to the other side. But his body was suddenly trapped in the air, unable to move. At this moment, a woman with long silver hair came out from the forest in the distance. This woman was wearing battle armor and had long silver white hair that reached to the ground. End of this chapter. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This story is completely available on Patreon. I invite you to subscribe and enjoy all the content.